Hey, 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 this is your girl Ashley Michelle, and welcome to the Ladies Room. We come to you every Wednesday night at 7. Well, today is 7:30 p.m. Central, but usually it's 7 p.m. Central. And I have the whole squad here. We got Mrs. Jovo,
Hey, hey.
we got Cannon Hill, we got Mrs. Understanding, and we got Darwin Hill. And we got Miss Rob B in the house tonight, y'all. I am so
Hey,
excited. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining us tonight. We're going to have a good one tonight, y'all. So, for those of you who are new to the ladies' room, we talk about everything pertaining to ladies, dating and love, marriage. We talk about parenting and we talk about mental health, physical health. We talk about some societal issues. We touch on some of the common discussions across these YouTube streets, as they say. We talk about it all right? We are called the ladies' room, but men are welcome. All right. You all can come in later in the show, join our live stream if you want, or you can just call in. But we got a good show for tonight. All right. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and share it. Share it to your social media stream so other people can know about the ladies' room. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this first topic. First topic, pick me's who aren't picked. Pick me's who aren't picked. So my understanding of a pick me has always been it's a woman who panders, kind of like the male version of Derek Jackson, the woman that says that men are just always right. Like it's always the women. Women are always wrong. It's always the man, and they kind of pander a little bit. They say what the men kind of want to hear. Okay, and I know men kind of put their own little spin on this word, right? But really, the origin of the word "pick me" has been to describe such a woman. Okay, so we're going to talk about pick me's who aren't actually picked because our YouTube space has quite a few of those, right? And we're just gonna kind of talk about them and what they bring. So, who wants to go first? Raven, I think you just bugging to go.
No, I thought it was just funny how you placed it at the end. We got a couple of them. We're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
I think first we need the Urban Dictionary, the Urban Dictionary definition.
Yes, thank you,
This
Candace.
is
Because now I think people have different definitions of this word,
Right.
right? So go ahead. What does the Urban
so
Dictionary say?
according to the Urban Dictionary, it is a girl who goes out of their way to impress boys and make it seem like they're not like other girls, kind of like a simp but for girls, otherwise known as internalized misogyny. So yeah, that's what it says.
Oh,
Pick me
okay.
girls like, internalized misogyny. Like they want to distinguish themselves from not being like other girls, they're
Right,
more of a guy's girl.
right. As opposed to just being, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
Trying to act
right.
like they ain't no thought.
Who these aren't picked? Like, what is this about? What's going on here? Why do y'all think there are some pick me's?
Well, because we do internalize misogyny. That happens. I say that all the time. I say misogyny is not just a male thing. It's a societal and cultural thing. So we all kind of have accepted a lot of those ideas and a lot of what it means to be a woman and to be a man. So it's some girls who think that that would be advantageous for them in the eyes of men to behave that way. But as we've seen numerous of times,
Oh, we lost her. I think she was about to say it kind of backfires, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the internalized misogyny that, in my opinion, makes all women girls, whatever you want to call it, that are pick-me's or boy crazy, it makes them a danger to everybody, because if you're always going to go out of your way to satisfy this random man, you never know what that could be. Y'all seen the little show Greenleaf? Have y'all seen it?
I
No?
haven't.
Yes? Have you?
I haven't.
Great
No.
show.
Okay.
Oh, Ashley, you will love that
Yeah,
show.
Ashley, you need to watch that.
Exactly. There's a woman on there who like goes out of her way to defend her brother and all this other stuff. And he had countless allegations of being a predator. And we'll let you, put fill in the dots there. But that would be the pick me. You're always trying to put the man on top, forget the welfare to everybody else, uplift the man, pander to the man, and people are really getting hurt out here. If you are boy crazy, okay? Because let's be realistic, the boy crazy girls, they will have you around in and everybody because they boy crazy. So yeah, pick me's who aren't picked. I mean, I know why they're not getting picked, but that's an individual thing. I can't speak on why each individual woman is not getting picked. But if you're trying to appeal to like that side of men, or be, girl that's not a girl's girl or whatnot, you're gonna attract the weirdos. Like, of course you're not gonna get picked.
Okay. Well, I think that there's a bit of you guys said misogyny, but I think that there's a bit of insecurity there, like that need to be validated. And obviously we have to care to some degree what the man that we wants in a woman, right? Like, it's not that we shouldn't care what men want. It's just that there are some women who just want a man so bad, or they need the validation of men to feel good about themselves. And so then they put on this like ultra concern for what men are saying, ignoring, what, a decent woman,
No,
would,
let me tell you what's happening out here. Let me
yeah.
tell you what's happening, okay? Because these men are saying one thing, but they're meaning something totally different, or they're living a totally different way. The reason why the pick-me-ism doesn't work is because they're bending themselves into pretzels, trying to be this idea of what the man keeps saying. This is what a woman is. This is what I want. This is what I want. But then in reality, that's not really what they want. They're picking what they actually want while they're saying these other things. And then these pick-me's are trying to be this thing that they're saying that they want. But in all actuality, that's not really what they want or what they actually are going for.
So are you saying that? Go ahead, Robbie. Go ahead.
No, honestly, I think it's too, because you can only hold up a facade for so long. So men are not really dumb. I know a lot of people want to think that they ain't paying attention and they ain't, so that's not true. They know what it is and what it's not. And if they see you, but they're sitting back watching how you talk to your friends, or watching the advice you give, or, men test women too. They'll throw a little test at you. You can't pass that test. So they're like, oh, you really trying to get me. So they'll either not pick them, or they'll pick them and run through them.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's my telltale that a woman is a pick-me. Is because, like, here's my thing. If you're really living a certain type of life, and you're really a woman, like the woman that is somebody you want to take home to your mama, somebody who, is supportive and submissive, all these things that men say that they want, right? If you really fit the bill, then you should have something to add from that perspective, right? Like, you should have something to add to the conversation to say, you know what, like, yeah, I get that men want this, that, and the other, and here is my experience as this type of woman. Like, but when you can never speak to that, then I'm just kind of like, it sounds like you're saying what they want to hear. It sounds like you're just kind of, you're not being real, you're not being genuine, because you can never talk about like your lifestyle as this woman, and the things that you've encountered. So I don't know. That's just kind of like a telltale sign for me. But Raven, you wanted to add something?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to your point, I guess if you are a more conservative woman, because a pick me could vary. It could be the woman that's conservative. It could be the woman that's super into sports and like a tomboyish kind of thing, play basketball with them, whatever their idea of a pick me is. Like Candace said, you have to mold into that. So if that's who you are in general, cool, great. But like you said, all this pandering is unnecessary. It's getting unreasonable out here.
Yeah. I think the pandering is like a symptom. And I'm going to go back to what Ashley said about insecurity, because when I was a teenager, based on the Urban Dictionary definition, like, I didn't know who I was. So whoever I was around, kind of like a chameleon, I wanted to fit in. So I'm going to say and wear and do what is popular within that group that I'm around at the time. And so I think a pick me, I think when you talk about that, it's very similar to that. And then there's some codependency patterns too, that go along with a female being a pick me. That whole I'm gonna agree with this or I'm gonna say this just so I can be on the right side of you, or just so I can be in agreement, with you. There's a level of insecurity and codependency that goes with that, I think, as well, which is very scary because now you have a group of women in these YouTube streets who don't know who they are. They're just saying what is either popular or saying what they think is agreeable to, certain men. They don't know who they are, and they're trying to tell other women on how to discover who they are so they can get the man of their dreams. It's disturbing.
Is it just me, or do you find in a lot of these spaces, and I'm not trying to dog any woman that fits this description, y'all, okay? I'm not. But I find that the women who we're talking about are usually women who are like, oh yeah, I used to be like that, or they are the ones that the guys say they don't want. Like when we were in that, when I was in that group that we used to be a part of, there were a few women like that who, were pandering. It was always women this, women that, men were just saints, right? And I love men. I'm not saying y'all just horrible. I'm just saying, like, nobody's perfect, right, in relationships, right? And so when you only address one side, to me, that sounds like you're pandering, right? And so there are a lot of women in that space, not a lot, but quite a few, right? And they will hear the men talk about, well, you shouldn't have kids outside of wedlock, and you shouldn't have bad attitude, and you shouldn't be this, and you shouldn't be that. And they were always the women who fit that bill. They were always like a lot of the women who are, I guess what you call pick-me's, they have that history. And it's always like, yeah, I used to be sleeping with him, and I used to have this man, and I didn't appreciate him, and I got 2 kids by 2 different men. It's always that, So I think that says a lot about these women, right? And I just think that it's really unfortunate because, if that's your story, that's fine. And you live your life and you own to it, and you learn from your choices, your mistakes, or whatever you have. But why do you project them onto other people? That's my problem.
Absolutely. In particular, one incident that came up here, I won't mention any names. If you've seen the episode, great. If you haven't, go check it out. But the woman was trying to come up here holding us accountable for all type of stuff, and I'm trying to figure out what we have done. Single parent, half us married, the other half ain't got no kids. How are we being held accountable for anything like that? Then we're being held accountable for having bad attitudes and all these fun things, but then that person had a bad attitude. It's so interesting. It's so much projection, and I hate that people are capitalizing off of it. I know you got to get the bag, but it's just sad that it's at the expense of Black women. It's it's unfortunate.
But it's funny though, because the same women that try to play the role of the pick-me, when they go into a new environment where they haven't brainwashed and mentally manipulated the men, those men see those women for exactly who they are. And the disrespect that they try to say should be portioned out to all of these women winds up resting heavily on their shoulders. And then they can't really take that pressure. So there's that too. They should hold themselves accountable. Like, well, I deserve it because that is my story. So
I like that. Yeah, that has come up a couple times, and it's like we got to reiterate that because that's so real. Like there are some men, though there may be few, but there are some men out there who have discernment, right? And they can really kind of discern when a woman's authentically her, and when, she's not, when she's kind of just saying what needs to be said to appear a certain way, Darn, you want to chime in on this? What you think?
So I just see a lot of desperation and a lot of pick-me's and a lot of women. Um, I think they just desperate to fit in with what they see around them. They want to be married so bad. They want to be in this type of relationship that they see their friends in, they see others in, and they really don't even know what's really going on. I know a couple of pick-me's personally. It's just very disgusting to watch and listen to their story. I would never let them talk to my daughters ever. I see them going through all these things with their husbands or their boyfriends, and some of them getting beat on, some of them knowingly getting cheated on. They even have cheated back, to try to ease the pain. They're I know one that lost her daycare, due to her husband's actions, lost her family, lost her mother, moved her away, and she's still preaching this. Listen to my man. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to hold him down. And she's doing nothing. She hasn't gained anything out the relationship, nothing at all. But she's still preaching this stuff to other women, like just listen to him no matter what. Let him do this. That he's the man of the house. He's supposed to have to say so. And it's just like the pandering. It's not reality. And, at some point you have to snap out of that delusion and understand like what you're trying to do is not working. And men don't really like pick-me's. I mean, yeah, it's cool. If we see a pick-me, this is just how it's gonna go. This is just how it's gonna look. We see a woman that's pandering, willing to bend over backwards for us. We're not looking at them like, oh, is that the woman for me? We looking like, oh, she's like just how women look at guys that splurging money. Oh, he's a trick. He's a goofy. That's how we look at those pick-me's. Like, she a goofy. I'm about to get something up out of her. I'm just about to use her up, get what I want because she's so willingly giving it to me. Might as well take it. That's not a strong-minded woman who's doing that. For one, ain't no woman just about to be doing all this stuff to all these strangers that they don't know. And I just see a lot of women just pandering to strangers, don't know him from a can of paint, but just agreeing with everything he say, and I live by the believe what people do instead of believe what people say. So, yeah. I really hate to see those type of women just giving in to men that way because, everybody's going to go after what they want. And men especially, women also, it's vice versa. So I just hate to see it. Like Ashley said, it's low self-esteem. It's kind of, but I think it's mainly desperation. These women are desperately looking for the what they see. Like on social media, television. They want this type of life that they don't know what the work entails. So they just fishing and trying to do whatever the man will do, whatever the man wants to get that man. And that's how they think they go get the man. Hey, I can't stop them, but that ain't how you go get the man.
Okay. Well, I think about the sustainability of some of the thinking, right? So I think, like, even for instance, with what's his name, Derrick Jackson, right? I couldn't listen to him for very long because you could tell that he was just kind of, telling the women what they wanted to hear. Like I followed him at one point because he was such a big name, right? So I wanted to know what he was all about. But I unfollowed him quickly. I just could not stand a lot of the things that he was saying because he would go out of his way, like, to make it the man's issue or to make it the man's fault.
Don't be talking about Derrick Jackson, Ash. That's my big brother.
Are you serious? You lying.
Nah, that's who they be calling me. They be calling me little Derrick Jackson. Oh, right. Yeah, so
what? No, not you.
Oh, yeah,
no, he was like, yeah, he was just
no.
he had the ultimate game because it worked with a lot of women, right? But I think the same thing with some of women who are pander in that way. It's like, okay, in the relationship, it's never going to be just the man's fault, right? And it's never going to be or just the woman's fault, right? So like it really you're gonna need two people to be holding themselves accountable and two people relating to each other, right? So how can you only talk about one side? You know, like it's not sustainable, you know, because you're gonna get into a relationship and realize, you know what? I have some needs too. You know, I have some needs. I have some things that are valuable. And the relationship, in order for it to be a healthy relationship, is going to have to be standing on some things that are not just relative to what you need, right? Relative to what people need when they're relating to each other, like respect, communication, you know, like so many different things that are really what's going to sustain, you know, any type of relationship, not just a romantic one. So when you have people who are pandering, it's like you're setting people up for failure because you have them going in with this mindset that it's, you know, I need to be this, do that, and think about him, think about what he wants. It's all him. And if I do X, Y, Z, this relationship is going to be perfect, right? And it's going to last. And it's like, well, not really, not necessarily, because it takes two people.
And then I don't think it's growth on either side. You know, I think she's going to stunt his growth because she's not challenging anything he does. She's not making him better. He's just sitting there doing what he do, wrong or right. You know, she's not going to apply that pressure to him, you know. And I think every black man needs that woman that's going to apply that pressure to him. You know, we got so many things that keeps us distracted in the world and everything. And we need that strong black woman to keep us, you know, with our eyes on the prize, you know. And if you got a panderer, she's not going to say anything about what you're doing. You know, she's going to just let everything go, whether they about to lose their home, you know, whether he's not elevating himself or anything, you know. And on the flip side, that man isn't really concerned with her growth at all because all he's getting is the benefit of doing what he wants to do. So, you know, he's not going to interrupt that, you know, so he's just going to let her keep pandering. And if he did decide to interrupt that, you know, I don't even know how successful he would be with that because she won't even understand it. You know, she'll just blame herself and just take it and I'm sorry and you know just do exactly what he wants her to do because she's a panderer. You know, so I don't think there's room for growth on either side. And if you're not growing, you know, in a world that's steady evolving, you gonna get left behind. You know, until somebody snaps out of it. You know, now I'm not saying it might not work, but if wants to live like that, I think she's dreading for punishment. You know.
No, I was gonna say what's so unfortunate is that I think some of them actually do believe that bending themselves into those pretzels makes them better. Like they believe the lie. It's like they blame themselves for, and everybody has a part to play, right? You always have a part to play in different things that play out in your life. But it's not totally always like 100%. Like, oh, if I just would have did this thing, then you know what I mean. It's like he said, it's always multiple moving parts. So I think some of them have been through situations, and have been through things, and then they believe a lot of the stereotypes, and they believe a lot of the lies, and they say, oh, well, this happens to me because I'm this way or that way. So now I have to be this other, I have to go out of my way to try to be this other way that they're saying that I need to be so that I don't experience that again.
Yeah, and I think some of them may just not know. So they're just listening to some of the things that they're hearing. And you know, they're listening to men, so they're like, oh, well, yeah, the men know, you know, but it's like you gotta be careful with what men you listen to too, right? Because there are men that mean you want a relationship with that man. You want a healthy man. You want to hear from a man who's mentally healthy, spiritually healthy. You know, that man will give you, will be fair, right? And tell you, you know, this is what men want, you know, versus some of these guys out here who are very kind of self-serving, and some of them don't even understand what goes into a healthy relationship themselves. So it's like a woman who hasn't grown up with that, she's gonna try to find it anywhere, right? And sometimes you find it in places that are not the healthiest places, right?
That's fact.
Now, ladies and Daryl, y'all better stop sitting up on this panel telling stories. Now these women is supposed to listen to these men, honey. You know we're supposed to do everything they say. You know that's what they want.
ma'am.
They just want you to be in the corner somewhere and talk about some yes, sir, master, sir, yes, sir, boss. That's what they want.
Yes, oh my God.
Yes, I think it's the infantilization or the
That's funny.
infantilism, rather, because
Yeah,
of
on
course
my
you don't.
end, I do think there's a lot of men that do want that, you know, but I don't think that's good for their
Of course
lifespan.
not.
No, I don't think that, you know, how much could they gain from having a pick me? Like let's just, what's the benefits of having a pick me?
You know what the benefits
whenever they
are.
want,
No talking
sex
back.
whenever they want, a good cooked meal, you know. I get to leave and come in out the house when I want to, no questions asked, you know. I get to mess up as much as I want to, no questions asked, to the detriment of my life, to the detriment of my kids' life, to her life, everything. No one's challenging anything. So
Abusive behavior.
want that hippie lifestyle with no worries and no cares from a woman. But hey, I used to be one of those who used to go after those type of women, and I didn't grow from it at all. You know, I only have one woman that helped me elevate, you know, and that's the one I married. And from looking at my life now to how it was then, I was very, very shallow. I wasn't really I didn't have a path. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't on a right path to bettering myself, you know, until I got with that woman who actually opened my eyes up to see these things and see these horrible ways that I was living and treating women, you know. So I know a lot of men that like call me the Derek Jackson, I guess, to pick me up men. But until you get on the other side and see the benefit of having a strong woman, then you not go realize how detriment a pick me will be. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not
somebody who will just.
I had a lot of pick me's in the days, you know.
Yeah, somebody who, and I've met, you know, some men, and I know some men in my life who are very mature men, right? And they appreciate a woman who has a little, like, she has some brain, she has an opinion, she can communicate, she can do so respectfully, right? And I think a lot of men in real life, they want that, you know, they want a woman that they can converse with about things, has something interesting to say, not somebody who's just kind of like, you know, regurgitating things. So like when I think about something like my dad or some other men in my life who have some things going for them and they're smart, they're strong men, they don't want a woman that's just vacant, you know, like, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's why I think when you kind of pander this way and, you know, it's always the woman's fault. It's always women need to do this, that, and that. And you can never have like a real conversation about relationships. It's eventually you're going to run into like some issues, right? Because you've been saying, oh, they told me if I bring him some sandwiches and if I, you know, and I don't correct him or say anything when he's wrong, let him figure it out. They said if I sleep with him and do this and do that, we would have a great relationship, you know. But it's like,
I mean, gotta go home.
Coming to America, right? He didn't want that woman that was like,
Right.
whatever you like, right? She was still on her one leg 40 years later. You know what I'm saying? So
He's got to go home at the end of the night. They don't get to spend the night and wake up to breakfast. Like, this is what I know. This is what I hear. Guys is like when they have sex with these pick-me's that then pick their way through to the crib. We don't be wanting to lay with them. After we hit, we like, oh, I wish she don't touch me no more. Why is she here? She doesn't stimulate me. I can't sit up all night and have a nice conversation with her because all it's gonna be is pandering and of course, unless you have that man that's very, very narcissistic that just wants to hear that crap. But most men that I know, they want to be stimulated by women. They want that connection with women deeper than sex, you know. And unfortunately, it's just a lot of men just don't know how to get it. You know what I'm saying? It's not that men don't want it. It's just men don't know how to get it. They only been taught one way to get a woman, and that, you know, they haven't been taught many ways to get a certain type of woman. So it's easy to go and get a woman. You know, we can just go outside and just get a woman, but how do you get that woman for you? You know, and a lot of men just don't know how to get that.
And
Yeah.
some of these pick me women, they learn this behavior from the households that they grew up in. You know, it's a learned behavior too, because you know, the conversation I love to hear is the one about, you know, we need to take it back to where grandmama and auntie them when marriage was like 70 years long. But let's just be real. It's a bunch of them who were married that long. I know somebody who their parents were married for like 60, or grandparents, yeah, 60 something years. And then the grandfather wasn't even dead like 6 months and the grandma had moved on. And gladly said that I was ready to move on. I wanted something different because this is what I've had for so long. So it's like they learned this behavior. Like everything went golden back in the day. Like all these marriages were not happy marriages, you know. And that's the other thing. They take one thing and they apply that to, okay, yeah, oh, they happy. That's a successful marriage. Instead of looking at several different elements. You know, they have like this long algebra equation of, oh, this will make you a good wife. So if you do this, and this, plus y'all know what I'm gonna say because I say it every week, the 900 million zillion thing that Black women need to be doing, and multiply this by this, then she's gonna have a successful relationship. And it's so unrealistic. It's so unrealistic. And a lot of these women, they're being abused and they don't even know it. They've dealt with emotional abuse and they don't even know it because they don't see, you know, the drawbacks of being the yes, and oh, I agree with that too. Like not having a mind of your own. Like it's dangerous. It's insane. It really is.
They cool until they snap out of it. As long as they in that little delusional mind of state, they happy. You know, you can't tell them nothing. But as soon as they get to a point and they snap out of it and they realize like, damn, what have I been doing? You know, where's my family at? You know, why is things like this? You know, why you know, it's just messed up. You know, we see it, but it's no way to get a real pick me, because there's some women who are pick me's and they doing it because they know the benefit of the pick me. That's all they really want, you know. So I get it. Some of these pick me's do it just
it's the game
of money or a good time. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool.
And not even that, it's big business now. It's big business. Think about, you know, and here's the thing, like
there's money in it.
You know the saying, a broken clock is right
twice a day. Yeah.
So
that's what I always think.
It's like, it's not that everything they're saying is not true or relevant. It's just that they're very one-sided, and then sometimes there are some extremes, right? So do you guys know that channel Pink Book Lessons? You know, so she'll dissect, you know, what they call modern women a lot, right? And so what I find interesting is that supposedly she's a woman that's got it all figured out, right? You got it all figured out, yet you know so much about the women who don't have it all figured out. Like, you know how they think, what their habits are. And it's like, okay, yeah, we can see what's going on, right? And I don't see anything wrong with, as they say, holding women accountable. My thing is like, how is it that you're such an upstanding woman? You know, you're such a wifely woman that the men want, but you never have anything to say from that perspective. Like, I've seen some women who can literally tell you, you know, about their life as a virtuous woman, or as a wife, right? Or as a submissive wife, or whatever. Like, they have real life stories, right? And they can tell you their opinions and perspective from living that life. But I'm just kind of like, just like with anything else, if you a mama, you got stories and perspectives as a mama, you know what I mean? Like, if you're anything, basketball player, you got stories and perspectives from that, from being a basketball player, anything. But I just find it interesting that these women never have anything to say from the other perspective. It's always about these modern women, and they kind of paint them as being representative of most women today. And I'm like, okay, but you so great, but you don't know no woman. You don't know not even two women in your life that you can say, you know, it's not this way. Like,
but you know what it really is.
Yeah.
What it really is a lot of women have been conditioned under pimp mentality. These pick-me's is bottom chicks at the end of the day. And I know that's like such a very graphic way to discuss the topic, but as I sit around these spaces and I'm watching this pimping.
That same analogy was going through my head as she hit the nail on the head.
And so these pick-me's are the madams. You understand what I'm saying? These men have built up these pick-me channels because they want these women to keep all the other women in check. Because even though Darwin is right, men need women that challenge them to grow because steel sharpens steel. A lot of these dudes are reprobate. They're always going to be childish. They're upset because their mothers didn't love on them and hug on them. And a lot of these women that's out here spinning these fairy tale, dynamics that they're talking about, they actually, before they got chosen or before they decided to put themselves in a place to be chosen, were the biggest hoes out here dotting and bopping. We see you.
Yeah.
That's
why I say I feel like it also comes from a place of like self, you know what I mean? Like how they feel about themselves and what they think about themselves and buying into like, oh, I'm this type of woman. Oh, this is what's wrong with me, right? And then the other party is, like you said, Ashley, it is there's money in it. And that is exactly how, and what you said about a broke clock being right twice a day. That's why I hate when people just be like, yeah, like if they like use Trump, for instance, and be like, yeah, but I mean, Trump told the truth about this, or, he might not say everything, but he said this thing. And then they always say, or that chew the meat, spit out the bones. That I hate that concept because that is literally how manipulation works. You cannot manipulate somebody if you just come out and say the entire wrong thing. You have to cloak it in enough of the truth for it to be able to be manipulation. So it's like that doesn't prove anything to me. Like the part of the stuff that is unacceptable is the problem, right? Like not this stuff I can get with. Okay, but you can find that somewhere else where it's consistent and it's not manipulative. So you just being so thirsty to find some type of information that you can use, you have to be discerning. And if you just listening to people that don't have integrity, or that have all of these flaws in their messaging, but you just think you just so sophisticated that you just gonna pick out the parts that's good and leave the other stuff. That's not how manipulation works. That is not. Manipulation works by telling you enough truth that you can get on board with, that you don't even catch the manipulation. You don't even catch the other parts that are harmful. That's the whole point.
That's true. So. I like that. All right, we're gonna move on, y'all. For those of you who have not done so already, go ahead, like, comment, y'all. Keep the discussion going and share this video. Make sure you subscribe as well. I also want to show you all or remind you all about our clubhouses. All right, Candid with Cannon. She comes onto Clubhouse every third Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, check her out. Conversations to push your thinking. We got Mrs. Jovo, a convo with Jovo. You all know that she's a drug abuse counselor, licensed therapist, full of wisdom and love and light. And she gonna keep it real with y'all. And you can have a convo with her. All right, free of charge, y'all. Free of charge. That's free therapy. And we also got Real Talk with Raven on Clubhouse every last Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. We got Rob B here. So, Rob B, you want to plug your channel, let people know where they can find you?
Sure. Hi, I'm Robbie Privilege, and I am a autism awareness advocate. I'm a mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mogul. I'm trying to build up this empire. No, I'm just playing, but seriously. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Robbie Privilege. And you can also come to the website, thepoppatient.com/services. I help people do corporate advertising, graphic designs, and editing. And y'all better get over to Clubhouse because, listen, these ladies got the sauce. They got me about to download Clubhouse right back on my phone. Yeah.
Yes, come on over. Robbie, can you put that your website in the chat? For us,
yeah.
So people can know. All right, y'all.
Hey, you was looking good on that Clubhouse picture too.
What you say?
That's a good picture.
Oh, he giving some props.
Oh my God, get a room, guys.
Hey, 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 hey. That's right, Darwin. Let them know. That's right.
All right, y'all. Welcome to the ladies' room. I'm so happy that y'all are joining us. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic. Can someone who hurt you help heal you? I actually got this topic from conversation cards. I forget what it's called, but I'm sure you guys have seen it on Facebook where they have they facilitate conversations between couples. And one of the questions was, can someone who hurt you help heal you? And I just thought it was a very interesting question. And so I was thinking more so in relationships, but if you want to kind of take this outside of romantic relationships, you can as well. Can someone who hurt you help heal you? What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, there's a poem by Khalil Gibran. It's one of my favorite poems ever, and it's on pain. And an excerpt from it is, you know, the physician inside you will heal his bitter self. You know what I'm saying? Like, sip from his cup, moistened with the potter's tears. You have to get to a certain level of total pain so that you can shed all the chains that are binding you and holding you back from being the best version of yourself. Sometimes you really got to see, you know what, this ain't worth it. I don't want this. So you can rebuild yourself and find your true happy.
Okay. So, and do you think that the person that hurt you so much can play a role in you getting there?
I think them hurting you so much is role enough, because once somebody causes you that level of pain, I don't really think that there's too much to be had moving forward, because at a certain point, like once you heal from that, you just look at them with like abject empathy at best. It's just like, oh, look at you. But you still have that appreciation because it's like, look at how God used you. You thought you were going to break me, but here I am.
Okay. Okay. All right. What do you all think?
Man, Mary J. Blige done made so many albums off of and got this fire tour going on with her because of her ex and some of her hurt and her pain. She's one of my favorite artists. Robbie made a great point. Even when I'm treating clients, there's an analogy that I use about hurt and pain, and I tell them that, you know, when you're hurting or when someone is hurting you, that is a sign that you're still alive. That pain is an indication that you're still experiencing some type of feeling, that you're not numbed out and you're not unaware. So think of it like this way. And it's a story out of a workbook that I use. Guy falls off the side of a mountain, breaks his leg. Okay. He's in the middle of nowhere. Okay. Hiking, climbing by himself in wilderness. And in his mind and his mental processing, he's telling himself, feel the pain, experience it, don't avoid it, don't try to ignore it, don't try to, numb yourself out, experience it. And what he was saying to himself was, if I allow myself to feel it, and if I allow myself to experience it, and if I'm fully aware instead of just avoiding it, that means I got a chance to live another day. I'm still alive. I'm not out here by myself. So it's so many different ways that you can look at pain and hurt, and as well as the people that, hurt us or, project pain onto us. It's so many different ways that you can look at it. So, I definitely think in some circumstances that could be the truth, that it can help heal you.
All right. Thank you, Joel. We have a caller. Go ahead, caller. If you like, you can introduce yourself, or you can just jump right in. Hello, can you hear us? Okay. I think that's someone playing on the phone. All right, sorry about that. We can go ahead and move on. What about in relationships? Like you're married? And so it's not so easy to just be like, I'm going to leave this person. You know, this person has caused some type of hurt.
Yeah,
Can
no,
that-
I don't think that in a relationship, the person who hurt you can help you heal. Because I think they have their own damage, and that's probably where the hurt came from in the first place. Because at the end of the day, hurt people, right? And they probably struggling with their own issues and their own demons. So you just have to work on that yourself. Like you have to do it yourself. Like you can't go to them to try to heal something that they probably are damaged in. You know what I mean? It's like they gonna have to figure that out and handle their stuff, and you gonna have to figure it out and handle that for yourself. So like that's just the way I look at it. I think a lot of times we do have this fairy tale idea of like, oh, and then now this person all of a sudden knows the right thing to do and the right thing to say, and now it's like that's just not reality. Like if they probably struggling with something, then yeah, that's the struggle that they have. They're not gonna. They probably, first of all, they probably don't even know that they're wrong. Second of all, even if they do realize they're wrong, they probably don't have the tools to know how to fix it. So it's like, how can you go run over there talking about some you got to help heal this? Like, nah, they don't know. They don't know what they're doing.
I guess it just depends. Like you have to really know the situation, like, and the person and what they are dealing with. Because sometimes, like you were saying, unless they are healed or going through the process of healing themselves, they're going to continue to hurt you, right? So I do think in some situations, personally, I think that a person who hurt you can help heal you. I think it just depends on how deep the hurt is. But I just think about in my own life, you know, sometimes like my family, sometimes we've hurt each other more than other people, right? Now, we have like we're super close and we are, you know, we're a very close-knit family, but family just by nature of them being so close to you can hurt you like nobody else, right? And so
yeah, but then they be fixing it. No, they be healing it.
I think the heal, it depends. Like it comes with them owning up to what they did, or you
Exactly.
It comes
In a
from
black family, they be owning up.
patience. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not saying that it happens easily.
Especially
But-
them older people, boy. You better not
Yeah.
tell them nothing. You better not tell them
Or
nothing.
like, even like patience too. Like you gotta know when, like, because sometimes people think that you can just jump back, right? Like, oh, okay, that was yesterday. I'm gonna say sorry today,
And just move on from it. Yeah.
Right. It might take you a little bit of time too. So that's why
Most
I say
people don't want to deal with the aftermath of the situation that they caused. Like they don't want to deal with it. That's why it's funny. That's why some people will they'll just break up because they're not about to deal with that. They're like, I'm not about to have to actually try to work through the process of fixing what I damaged. It's just easier a lot of times to just cut and run.
yeah. Okay.
Or they've been in situations where multiple people close to them allow them to do certain things, like they're not ever held accountable for their behavior. And then when you're the one person to try to hold them accountable and say, no, that's not gonna fly with me, then they avoid the accountability by just, oh, it's a new day, you need to get over that. Nah.
But see, that's exactly why I say that they can help you heal. Because I think oftentimes when people think about people helping heal, they think that the other person has to take accountability. They think that the other person has to hold their hand through the situation. That's not true healing. That's codependent healing. True internal healing is when you don't even need their validation on any levels because you forgive them despite of, because you learn to love yourself enough to recognize the warning sign, recognize the triggers, like to the point that you were saying about like within marriages and you can't leave. Sometimes it's best that you can't leave right away because it gives you time to say, I've exhausted all eventualities. I gave them all I could give them and it wasn't enough. So now it's time to give back to me. And, you know, for a group of people that don't really like to go to therapy, they also don't like to self-examine and be self-reflective either. If you're not going to go talk to somebody else so somebody can hold that mirror to you, you have to learn how to hold the mirror to yourself. Like, you have to be, what am I doing? Why am I tolerating this? What is going on with me? You know, I ain't going long stroke it though. I ain't going long stroke it.
No,
I like what Robbie said. It kind of made me think about like self-sabotage. Like, of course, someone that could hurt you, if you're self-sabotage, you can heal yourself technically, yeah. But also to her point about codependency, if for instance you've had religious trauma in the church or something like that, you may not need to be still, right up under the pastor still. You might need to, not be expecting the pastor or the authoritarian figures in the church to be healing you. You might need to heal yourself and take a step back and, not look for that guidance from the pastors and whatnot. Or to your point, Ashley, in family, if your grandmother was a colorist per se, or for instance, rather, she's probably just gonna die a colorist, that healing process, she's probably not going to take accountability. You healing yourself and realizing that your skin color doesn't determine your value, that's a whole process for you. But I mean, it would be nice if they learn and heal themselves on the way out, but if they don't, that is just something that's unfortunate. So I don't know if people that hurt you can help you heal. I think, like you guys have been saying, it really just depends on the situation.
Yeah. Probably in most situations, no, huh? Sounds like it. Sounds like it, because unfortunately, some people don't take ownership in how they may have hurt someone, and then sometimes, like, you may never, like Robbie was saying, you may never get that I'm sorry. And I think it's possible. It's just something that doesn't happen often. So it behooves us to learn how to heal, not so much on our own, but without the person, with or without the person who actually hurt you, right? Yeah. Okay. Who didn't chime in on this topic? Darren, did you chime in?
Well, I really don't have anything to I don't know nothing about all this hurt stuff y'all talking about. So that's why I really didn't say nothing. But I mean, if you talking about ego, yeah, my ego's been hurt plenty of times. And yeah, it's gonna take that other person for me to heal it, because I'm about to get some payback. I mean,
we still working on it. We still working on that EQ and that toxic masculinity, because he swear he ain't got no feelings that can get hurt. Like, he ain't got no feelings.
I do have feelings that can get hurt. I just think I've been very lucky at guarding my feelings. Yeah, I mean, I haven't. I can honestly say I don't think I've been in love with women enough to be hurting my feelings. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, ain't too much women was doing to me that really like had me like about to
you weren't
lose weight and just start doing things. Plus I had a near death experience, so I mean, I'm pretty much over a lot of things, like when it comes to people hurting me. Even if I'm just being transparent, even if me and my wife to get divorced, I think I would be hurt, but not in the way well she hurt me. I'd be hurt because our union didn't succeed. It wouldn't be like, oh, she did this, she did that, or whatever the case may be. So I wouldn't need her to help me heal. I would just need some time to get over that, and I just take what we learn during the marriage, and I just take it in as a learning process. I mean, that's just how I evaluate my life, But like, my ego's been hurt plenty of times, and I get my payback, and I be good, So
payback. But if you need payback, have you really healed?
Yes,
exactly. No, he is an avoider. Okay,
I'll be good.
He is an avoider, so he's gonna avoid those emotions. He's gonna avoid those feelings. He's gonna avoid. That's
what I'm saying. I don't know this hurt stuff y'all talking about. Again, I'm built to. I'm really a bad person, like I be, not a bad person like that, but there's a lot of stuff that I have done to people. Well, if something was to happen to me, I just be like, yeah, I got to eat that. You know what I'm saying? So I've done, you can name something. I've done it. So I mean, I'm just that type of person. I mean, I look at life as logical as possible, you know. So a lot of the feelings that a lot of people be having when it comes to these relationships, I don't really have. You know, even my wife knows I don't really believe in the love aspect of relationships. Like, oh, I love you. I have these butterflies in my stomach, and oh my God, I just need you. If I didn't have you, my life would be incomplete. I don't believe in all of that crazy stuff. I might say the words on a birthday card and stuff like that because I know she wants to hear that. But it's other things that make
Well,
me.
because your acts of service, you just express it differently. But that's what I like. You just don't put your fingers on your feelings. Okay, does not mean that they're not there, sir. Okay, you just don't put your fingers.
Well, like I said, I've been very successful at guarding my feelings so they won't get hurt. So I hope it don't start at the age of 38.
I mean, if you have to get paid back, that symbolizes a level of hurt.
It does.
Well, yeah, a level of hurt, or I'm just a evil, sadistic person. You know.
No.
You heard
No, you're not.
You heard the therapist. She didn't told you. Okay,
Right.
she didn't.
No, you're not.
I guess a lot of women hurt me then.
Hey, y'all, we gotta come
Okay.
back. We gotta come back to this. We're gonna get Darwin all the way healed with the therapist on
I know.
But we have a caller. But before I bring in the caller, I did want to highlight a few comments from Big Bad Bull. He says, sometimes folks hurt you by showing you your truth. So surely they could possibly help heal you. So that's another side of looking at it, right? Because sometimes people are hurt by the truth, by looking at themselves, but in turn, they grow, right? We Unlock Nation says repentance is one way to heal yourselves from trauma. I completely agree with that. Eugene says sometimes you can heal by forgiving the ones who hurt you. Yes, absolutely. All right. We also have a caller. Caller, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
This is We Unlock Nation.
All right. Hey, We Unlock Nation, y'all.
Hey.
We're talking about hurt feelings, right? I can only go based on my experience. I've hurt people to the point where they have not forgiven me as of yet, and to be vulnerable at that point is sometimes it's a very, very difficult thing to do, especially for someone you have hurt. Now, people do have egos, yes they do. I was one of them at one point until somebody showed me who I was. And eye contact, when you're basically telling the truth about you, when they tell the truth about you, sometimes it does hurt a lot.
Okay.
But
yeah.
It's a reality check. It's a reality check. And those people that's on the internet don't like to say the truth about themselves. That's why you have a lot of hurt feelings. That's why you have a lot of egos clashing. And that's why you have a bunch of dictators. I don't rock with those individuals. I rock with those who are vulnerable. Because we don't want a bunch of evil people walking around the earth. It happened before in the Bible, and you know what happened after that. There's been a cataclysmic type of a thing, and even 49 later, everything had to start over again. I don't think we're going to see that type of a thing. So I would say that repentance, forgiveness are important tools to use because they're a sign of love, and that's what we're missing.
Yep. Can you repeat that last part? You're a little bit muffled.
I said repentance.
Yep.
I'll add this. Repentance, truth, being vulnerable with one another, and love are important tools to have for one another.
Yeah, I agree.
We're missing love. No one wants to admit that.
I agree. Love that. I absolutely appreciate that. Do you guys get that? He talked about repentance. I think he said forgiveness and love.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I love that because we are social beings. And I think it's important for us to learn how to heal oneself, right? Because not everybody's going to say sorry. Not everybody's going to care about your healing, right? But I like the message of you know being accountable to each other because we can't forget that. Like we just can't because we are social people. We relate to one another. And I think that, we got to come together and try to help heal each other too. Heal oneself and try to heal others. Like some people have that, Jovo, you got it, that healing spirit, right? You know, Robbie spoke some words that will help people too heal. And thank you. So I appreciate that. I appreciate what you have just offered. That's deep.
Not a problem, man.
All righty. Well, you all have a good one. All right. You have a good one.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. And I wish that everybody could think along those terms. I think we have better communities, right? Better families if we thought along the terms of repentance, saying I'm sorry, even, saying I'm sorry. It's and forgiving. Like it's amazing how many people are walking around sick because they can't forgive. So that's true. They're like I know somebody who was sick physically because it took this person years to forgive somebody else who probably wasn't even thinking about what happened, So, but anyway, I love that. And the love piece is so important so that we don't go years, right? Like we don't go years with somebody thinking that you hurt them, right? And you not even know it, So thank you. If anyone else wants to call in, you can go ahead and call in. Somebody else wants to add in, chime in.
I just wanted y'all to try to explain to me how y'all gonna tell me I've been hurt.
You said you wanted payback. That sounds like you've been hurt.
Who hurt you? Okay, because you hurt right now. Look at you.
Talk about you don't share your feelings. You just call her hot and sexy every 5 minutes. You share your feelings all day, Darwin.
I'm telling you, no, he doesn't know.
It's
The
okay.
thing is, he doesn't put the name on the feelings. Okay, as long as
right.
you don't them, then they don't exist. So we just gonna let it. You right, babe. You don't got no feelings, babe. You don't.
I never said I didn't have no feelings. I know.
You said your feelings couldn't get hurt.
He's too handsome to be hurt. He like, you know what? I'm that dude.
No,
Well,
this is the truth.
Oh Lord.
I really had this narcissistic attitude about like how the hell you don't want to be with me, like whatever. Like I used to be like more disgusted that a woman would act like she didn't want to be with me. So I'd be like, okay, let me get some payback. I'll lure her in, I bone her one more time, and then I'll be like, I broke up with you, and I'll be good. So
you do realize that's an emotional reaction and response, right?
No, he doesn't.
You do realize that.
No, he doesn't.
I do realize that, but what I'm saying is, it wasn't because I was hurt. My ego. I told at the beginning.
I just told you, Mr. Jovo, he just don't want the name on there.
Even okay, so you do realize that. Okay, so you have ego, inner self, and personality, all of which are connected to that system within us that is attached to emotions. See. Well, not even that. Just those nerve endings, like that. There's different, and I ain't got time to do the science lesson. I ain't got it in me today. But but what I'm saying to you is that, and a lot of times we've seen this in our community, and I think I've mentioned it on the show before. We in our community we normalize avoiding labeling those emotions. There's an avoidance there because think about Black people and our ancestors and what they had to endure. They didn't have time to say, well, that hurt my feelings. They didn't have the luxury of actually having, someone validate that. So it's like that whole keep on pushing mentality, or I'm not gonna let them see me sweat, or I'm not gonna let them see me hurt, or I'm gonna do this to show them that I'm not hurt. It's just been these behaviors that we've kind of been socialized to practice and do to avoid our feelings.
Y'all really not understanding what I'm saying.
We understand that there's a level of avoidance going on, and it's okay.
My wife
it's
knows
okay.
I'm laughing because what the point I'm trying to say, if I was dealing with like tens of women at the same time, and if it was just like I didn't talk to no women about my personal problems, my inner thoughts, my emotions, none of this. I never gave them that. I protected myself because I knew I just wanted to have fun with these women. So once they left, I just was like, it was just I was just in that egotistical man, like, oh no, you're not gonna leave me. You know what I'm saying? You part of this team that I done built. So if you want to leave, you go leave on under my terms. So that's payback for me. It wasn't because you damaged me and you hurt me, and I have to. Well,
not those specific emotions, but there was an emotion involved. There's hundreds, thousands of emotions. Like, there's different labels. I'm gonna have to give Ashley a copy of my emoji sheet so she could just pop it up here during the show and just pick a face, Darwin, pick a face.
Well, to be fair, we already know he's an avoider and I am a vacillator, so we already know how that goes.
Right. So,
can I ask this? Do you think that, like, before you got married, that you intentionally had a lot of women to avoid an emotional connection with just one?
Yes, that's what I said. I protect my feelings. I didn't.
You avoid it. The word is avoidance. It's not protect.
Right. So you were afraid of being hurt.
It's avoidance.
It was not meant about me being afraid to be hurt. It was just I did not want to deal with all of the stuff that people deal with in relationships, like all the long nights talking about things and answering to this and answer. I was not about to do all of that, so I intentionally just had flings and had pick-me's, like we was talking. I had these different type of women that I knew I wasn't going to be serious with because I knew I wasn't at that point in my life where I could even deal with those type of conversations. Even my wife, because I was dealing with her at the time, I was dealing with a lot of women too, and she used to make my head hurt. Like I used to be like, oh my God, used to literally start hurt by even talking.
Did you just say hurt? Did you just say hurt?
Yeah,
okay. I just okay. Hey, physical pain is it live on the same street, buddy. It live on the same street. We ain't doing this with you tonight.
How does this translate in your marriage, though? This avoidance of feelings. I mean, if I'm not crossing any boundaries.
But no, she knows my feelings. So, like, she was the only woman that ever humbled me. Like, it was a time where she just walked completely out of my life, and I was literally looking for her, like, calling her friends, like, where's she at?
Yeah, he was hurt.
I was hurt.
Wait, say that again. Can you like say that so the camera? Can you? Okay.
I lost a friend.
See, Darwin, that whole pimp mentality that Robbie talked about before, that's a defense mechanism, brother. That's what that is. That's that game face. That's that game face. That's a defense mechanism.
That's what I said at the beginning when I said I protect my feelings.
And you avoid them. Avoidance is a form
clearly
of protection.
not well enough. If you look for her for a year, you did not.
Avoidance is a form of protection.
I told y'all. See, y'all don't listen. I said this is the only woman who I ever shared my feelings with. This is what I said. It's the only one I ever talked to like that to be able to hurt me. Can't no other woman do anything to hurt me. Like they don't know enough about me. They don't know how to push these butts. They don't know. How
I don't know. I disagree because obviously they did. If you talked about trying to manipulate them and get them to do certain things, is a form of revenge. Well, I mean, even if it were, there was some type of emotion attached to the behavior. Our thoughts and our emotions control our behavior, Darwin.
I thought we were talking about being hurt.
No, not even. Okay, so hurt is one emotion, brother. One.
We talking about hurt though. I had a lot of emotions dealing with these women. But
Right. So okay,
You're disappointed.
Okay.
Disappointed in them.
okay, so you understand now.
Oh, okay.
how can I let her?
He
act
just
like-
answered the question.
act like-
No, I think somebody wants to know what a vacillator is.
Yeah.
It's based in this book called How We Love, and it's like attachment theory. And a vacillator is someone who is very like black and white in thinking when it comes to relationships. It kind of stems from abandonment issues. So it's like you idolize and then you devalue. So you will idolize and you like, oh, this is perfect. Oh, this is amazing. Oh my God, it's everything. Then one thing can happen and you'll be like, this ain't shit. Forget this. This is the worst thing in the world.
Everything is
Every
bad.
time Darwin does
Everything in
it,
this is
you be
bad.
like, yes, start alive.
Just imagine what I'm going through.
Oh.
You remember that too? Oh my God.
He used to and what's funny, before we took the quiz or whatever and we figured out what our attachment styles were, he used to say that all the time. And he used to be like, you act like it's the end of the world with everything. You always go from here to here. And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, I was like, dude, it is the end of the world. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, this is like, there's no coming back from this. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is done.
Psychopath.
Are you a Libra? Are you a Libra?
No, I'm a
It's
Gemini.
a Gemini. All
Oh
of them are
God,
Gemini.
Jesus, help the world.
Everybody's birthday was in one whole
That
week.
makes sense.
Hey, it's our season. It's our season. Y'all not gonna do this. Y'all not gonna do this.
Exactly.
It's our season. Y'all not gonna do this.
You know how many times I was supposed to leave her. Okay, I was supposed to.
That's the yin and yang going on. They say we're
You saw my other background behind my desk. Yes, that's exactly.
Exactly. But then I saw it and I read it and I was like, oh, okay, that's what I do. I idealize and then I devalue. So now I can recognize it, and I work on it. And I'll be like, oh, okay, it's somewhere in the middle. I guess we could work with it.
Right. Right.
I was gonna ask you, so how do y'all keep that from breaking up y'all marriage? Because if you ready to like call it quits,
Man, I used to be, I'm telling you, like, that was me. Like, I was like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not
Hey.
It's like, I promise you, like, dudes used to be so confused because they'd be like, oh, she's so into me and in love with me, and they was just like, and then I changed that number, be out of there in a heartbeat. They wouldn't even know what happened. So,
Look at Raven's face. It's priceless.
Kenny moving like a thief in the night, bro. What is that?
But you,
You changed your number?
I used to get
Raven.
little.
This is what she did. This is what she did. I was living in Chicago and she wanted a relationship, and I was telling like we can't be together because I'm still doing me. And if we got together right now, I know I'm gonna be cheating on you. So, but if you want to be with me, let's go ahead and give it a try, right? And she was like, okay, cool. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, we together. The next day, her number was changed. She had deleted me off social media. She had her friends line for her, and this went on for like a whole year. I couldn't get in touch with her. So until I found her at her job, and I done had a baby by then, so I'm driving, racing to check her. You know what I'm saying? I get to her job, I bust in the door with a baby stroller, like, and just give her a look like, yeah, you know, and and that's what kicked us back off. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to find her. You know what I'm saying?
Who you thought he was talking to though? What you talking about?
Right?
Okay.
He can use another pick me. It's not gonna happen. What is happening?
That Gemini Jedi, we about to cut you off at the knees. That game is so strong. Oh my God.
So strong. But
no,
to
y'all
answer
women
your
ask the
question, Ashley,
transparency, and when y'all get it, y'all run away.
but
That's
since we
No,
know that
we have
also,
options.
okay, so what happens is we read the book or whatever, and then the book
Yeah.
it talks about it's called your pattern, your core patterns,
Mhm.
right? And it's kind of how you argue and how you get along and those types of things. So our core pattern would be, since I'm a vacillator, of course, idealizing and devaluing. He's an avoider, so he doesn't want to deal with any uncomfortable emotions at all. But what that does to me is it triggers my abandonment issues. So he's gonna pull further away and be like, I'm not gonna deal with this. But that's gonna trigger me even more. Like, hold on, where you going? So that's gonna make me go even, be even more crazy or whatever. So knowing that, since we're aware of that, we're able to catch that pattern and then make different choices in the moment. So it's like, we know we feel a certain way, but you have to make a concerted effort to make a different choice in behavior, right? Because you know it's just based on how you feel. It doesn't necessarily reflect what's happening. It's just how you feel. Right.
I love that you all know your attachment styles, because that's so important in a relationship. It breaks up that potential of destructive codependency, because when you know your partner's attachment style, it just helps navigate things so much clearer. I just want to throw that in there.
We did have we had a lot of problems, because you know I was still in the habit of telling girls that they were beautiful, liking pictures and stuff like that, and little stuff like that used to send her like, and I'm like, God dang, I just liked it. I just told her she would look nice, you know. She's like, no, you want to be with her? It's over, and this and that. I was like, God damn. So I was just like, all them little habits. It was just like, hey, it's over with now. You know, I can't do nothing because it's gonna go to the extreme, and that's what I mean by pressure. You know, she could have easily been like one of them pick me, like, it's just like, he's just liking a picture. He just told her she looked nice and that. But it made me step my game up and made me respect her more, because she put that pressure on me and I didn't want to lose her. So I had to stop doing those little things that, you know, men seem to think that's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And it is really a big deal, especially when you want someone to trust you and when you want someone to respect you and you want them to look at you and they looking at you to protect their feelings. So it was a lot of little things that I had to stop doing, because it just went straight to from 0 to 100 real fast. Like, God, it was a mess. I was about to, you know.
Oh, well, the book. Somebody in the chat is asking. The book is called How We Love. That's the name of the book.
How We Love. I asked our viewers, can someone who hurt you help heal you? And 54% of them said no. So if you want to share your thoughts, you can join us on screen. I'll link our live stream in the chat, or you can also call us. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our last topic of the night. And I hope y'all got something from that. That was like a marriage case study right there. Y'all can kind of learn from Cannon and Darwin. I gotta be honest, like, I don't know my attachment style. I mean, I'm pretty self-aware. Maybe I know and just don't know what it's called.
Yeah, please go get that book. Like, it's gonna be.
It's eye-opening. One of
yes, it is.
My students had told me about it, and I went and I read, and I was like, I promise you, it made me. Like, I did not, if you don't have the language or you don't even have the understanding to realize how, because I mean, we all know that our childhoods affected us, right? We all know that, but you don't necessarily know the ways that it affected the way that you view things. And of course, we always just assume or we think that what we feel or how we view things is right because it's right for us, right? In our mind, like, it's right for us. Like, no, this is right. But it's like being able to sit down and actually read that and understand how the way I grew up impacted the way that I view things, and then what that actually looks like, and and it's like, oh, it's like, okay.
That's the only book I've read in like the past 7-6 years, really.
The only book
I'm not a reader, so.
And you know what? This goes back to our first topic with the pygmies, because because Robbie, like, she was on point with that analogy with the pimps and the hoes, like that just she just hit the nail on the head. But imagine how effective it would be for a pygmy to know her attachment style. That would be the beginning portion of her understanding who she really is, versus for those of them that are pygmies and don't know it. Not the ones who trying to pimp the system and, you know, are completely, you know, they act like they're unaware. I'm talking about the ones that are unaware. Imagine the self-awareness they would get if they know just even their attachment style to other people. You know, it would just bring so much insight. I just, you know, look at the connection between that
I recognize it all the time in a lot of these conversations, especially with people talking about relationships in these spaces. And it's like, you don't even necessarily understand how you're contributing to the issues in the relationship. Because
right.
Most of us, again, have these issues that we have carried into adulthood from childhood. And if you're not aware of them, then again, that don't always make you right or the other person wrong or the other person wrong. And you know what I'm saying? And make you wrong or them right. It's just how we view things. And it's like, you just have to understand that. It's like how you're looking at it. So it's not usually all the way over here or all the way over there. It's just you being aware of how you have developed that emotional, those emotional defenses. Like we all have emotional defenses to that we've learned over the years. So it's like, if you're not aware of that and you're trying to be in these relationships with people, but that's why I say, that's why I always get so frustrated. And maybe this kind of helps people understand a little bit better about me when we having these conversations. Because people be talking about the wrong shit. Like you sitting up here talking about some submissive and some if you cook some food and like all of this silly stuff that don't have nothing to do with actually trying to be in a relationship with somebody. Like it's so much deeper and so much more important than the
like relating to the other person instead of like all these different things.
Yes,
that are just minute or mundane. Yeah.
Expectations. It's like that's not the relationship. Like it's way deeper than that. Like you ain't even got to that. You don't even know nothing about that. You talking about if they make this a much amount of money or if they said this like this, like all of this silly stuff that it really literally does not matter. Do you know how you engage in a relationship? Do you know how to be in a relationship to somebody? Do you even know what that means? Like that be my thing. I just be like, y'all saying a bunch of stuff that don't even. I see why people be breaking up left and right because you just out thinking about all this superficial stuff that doesn't really even ever get to the depth of what it actually means to try to be in a relationship with somebody else.
Right.
Say it's like in our community specifically, we can't even just get together to even talk about how to stay together. but it worries me that we do talk about these like relationships like it's a playbook, you know, versus like really getting deeper. Because okay, let's say people start getting together, they ain't gonna stay together very long because you know the spaces, and not all of them. There are some, you know, broadcasts that I've listened to that do a really good job of like just getting real about marriage, you know, and they give like really good advice. And you can learn from other people, but mostly in these spaces, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, is real surface level.
I will honestly say, without that book, our marriage probably wouldn't have worked. You know, I just want to, for all the fellas that always say I don't say nothing or give y'all no advice or anything, I'm telling y'all that go get that book. It's either go, Robbie, turn him to a pimp, or turn into a great husband. You go learn some stuff. You'll learn some stuff on how to treat a woman and how to fill her love cup up and how to make her feel special. It's go teach you that, you know, because a lot of men do a lot of things that they were taught to do for women that really doesn't really affect that woman that they're trying to be with. And when they learn their love language, they'll better know how to fill their love cup up and get the maximum out of their love energy that they got to offer. You know what I'm saying? So if you read that book and you're really serious about wanting to be with a woman, it's going to teach you a lot on how to make that special connection with that woman.
He ain't lying.
I think that man should go to therapy.
No, right. And we have gone to therapy faithfully. Okay. That's also, I agree with you, Robbie Privilege. That is
yes.
You need to make a concerted, intentional effort to work on your relationship in that way. Like a lot of times we'll go to therapy. Like you don't just go to therapy when you have issues. Like that's the other thing. A lot of people wait till everything explodes to it's about to be over. Then they want to try to go to therapy. It's like, no, you should be going to therapy just consistently. Like when it's like nothing even going on as far as you're concerned. Because I promise you get up in there and you're going to get to talking and you're going to
tell you to go have sex.
That's funny.
That is normally how the session ends. Well, you know what, guys? I think the best thing to do, just get intimate, know each other again. It's the same at the end of the session. That's
no. Hey. I'm no. Darwin make a good point because I remember when me and my husband were going to marriage counseling. At the end of one session, he was like, "I don't know why I'm so turned on after we do therapy." He was like. And I told him, and he said that. I wonder if he heard me say this. But he said that. I think it's just a level of transparency. going back to what Darwin said, I think that men genuinely become more attracted to women who, in terms of that level of transparency. Like, you know, when you lay everything out on the table, it's just easy. You know what I'm saying? It just comes more naturally versus playing all these games and, like what Cannon said, talking about stuff that don't even have anything to do with how you relate to another human being. You know, so yeah, I think that level of transparency.
What's better than having sex with a beautiful woman? Having sex with a beautiful woman that you can trust. So, you know, like,
hey, he got a point.
Hey, he's talking about our therapist literally told us at the end of one session to go home and have sex. That's what he's still excited about. He was ready to go to therapy every time after that. He'd be going to therapy.
I can see Darwin's face after that, like, hey, how much you want us to write this check out for? Like, you want a tip?
He was like, okay. He was like, so you guys go home tonight, have sex, you know, and
like, that's funny. That's funny.
All right, y'all. For those of you who just tuned in, welcome to the Ladies' Room. We come to you all every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. We talk about everything, as y'all can tell. We talk about relationships and marriage, love, sex a little bit. We talk about parenting, physical health, mental health, spiritual and emotional health. We talk about it all right here in the Ladies' Room. All right, so go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't done so already. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to our last topic. How independent is too independent? How independent is too independent? So I know this was Cannon's idea, y'all, because she on fire for this topic, y'all. But she shared with me a video and of a man who was talking about independent women. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and share this. All right, here we go.
Stop being an independent woman around men.
God damn.
Listen, you can be an independent woman around everybody else at work, your kid's school, running your business. But the number one turnoff of most masculine men is a masculine, independent woman. So just turn it off. I know you can open the door for yourself, but let him do it. I know you can pay for dinner, but let him do it. Am I suggesting that you act like you can't do anything in his presence? Yeah, that's about right. A man feels more masculine when he's helping you, taking care of you. So get out of his way and let him. Hit follow for more.
All right. So what do you all think about that? I have my thoughts. I'm going to share them later. I want to know what y'all think. What do you all think?
See, my issue is that you are trying to take care of women in every other way than what they're asking you to. Like, you trying to make me pretend to need you in ways that I don't. Why don't you just be a man and support me in the ways that I need you to, that I'm telling you that I need you to, and then you can feel like a man that way. But why are you trying to make me act like some wounded, broken bird out here who can't do nothing just so you could feel like a man? No, why don't you be a man and support me in the ways that I need you to? Or is it that that's actually too much? So you want me to dumb myself down so you can have the bare minimum to do, like stupid stuff, like I say, like opening up doors and got me out here playing like I'm helpless so that you can do silly stuff. Like, no, that's what we have children for. Like, what is going on? Like, take care of the babies. Like,
that's what
we are grown adults. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's insane. It's like you need your ego stroke that bad that you want me to perform. You want me to perform in all of these ways for what? Like, that's silly. Like, that's so silly. Like, why don't you support me in the ways that I need my man to support me? And then you can feel like a man that way, because I do need you for things. It's just not the silly stuff that I can do myself. So why don't you do the stuff I need you to do instead of trying to make
some of those things? What would be some of the things that you as a
emotional support? Like I would need emotional support. I also think that it's different for every woman what they need. Like the things that I know that I what shut up. Like the things that I need from my husband, like what I always say, like he kind of steps into a lot of different roles that stuff like that I don't want to do. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, even stuff that we feel like is traditionally feminine stuff. Like, again, one of the main things that he handles more than anything is probably the familial stuff, like the kinship keeping that I said that women tend to do more often. He does that. I don't want to do that, okay? Because that's a lot of work. I don't feel like calling people and getting people together and doing all this stuff. I don't want to do all of that. He's better at that. He does that. He takes that off my plate. I don't have to do it. It's just a lot of different things. It's like whatever it is that I need you to actually support me in, do that. Pay attention to that instead of trying to have these arbitrary ideas of what it means for me to be a woman and you to be a man. Like, it's silliness. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. How many women though are really out here having a problem with the man opening the door for them?
Right.
Like, really like a thing?
No, it's not even that. Like when I watched him, he first of all, the whole video was like, okay, welcome to my circus. I'm your court jester. And it's like, and y'all, I get so sick of men in this world telling black women, or because that's who he was directing it to, telling black women what they need to do. Okay, you want help? Okay, we gonna tell you what you need help with. Just like Candy was saying. Like, I don't need you to help me open the door. It's nice that you do. I ain't gonna say nothing if you do. But you know what? When I come home from a long day work, hey babe, I went ahead and whipped up this chicken. I didn't know what you was gonna do with it, but I heard you mention you had a bad day earlier. Hey, I went on and whipped this up for you. And it's like, okay, that's what I need. That's support. Or, like I remember when my daughter was small and I would be, and I was staying home with her and I'd be about to pull all my hair out my head. And my husband will just get them both dressed. Are we going to the movies? Are we going to go over such and such house and meet up with his daughter? And you just do, you ain't got to do nothing. You just do what you want to do. Like you say, you tired. Come on, and he'll round her up and go. That is support. Okay. Not this whole, y'all need to sit back and let us take care of y'all. But how you gonna know what to do? Taking care of y'all, like doing what? Like opening the door? Okay, like paying the bill? Like let me open that pickle jar for you. Or
all right, we have We Unlock on backstage. I'm gonna bring him up.
Okay.
Hey.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, how you doing?
You all right? You all right?
You want to chime in on this?
Back in my day, my mother and my father basically took care of themselves. I mean, they were too damn independent of each other. I mean, if something needed to get paid, it got paid. It's something needed to be done, and going to the grocery store, and if someone wanted to cook, they cook, whether it be my mother or my father. Mm-hmm. They're just too independent of each other because both of them worked at General Motors for about 20 to 30 years. I don't know what's going on in this generation today. Mm-hmm. I mean, men want to be gods of the internet, but you can't get a job. I mean, I would say get some income coming in first, and then talk to me about a woman should do what I ask her to do, and it's the best. It benefits me and it benefits the child. No, it benefits your ego, sir.
So. Definitely possible. And I love what you said about how your parents did, they both shared, they just did what needs to be done. I honestly think that's how most relationships were in the past. I've shared my story a little bit. Like my grandmother who raised me was very what they envisioned traditional to be, right? Like she took care of the home, and my grandfather, was the one that worked outside of the home, right? So they were traditional in the sense that we talk about it. But if you really look back, in our communities, and not just in our past, but even now, like successful communities. And I mean, when I say successful, I'm thinking about like just in terms of marriage, like in communities that have longer, that get married sooner and stay married a little bit longer. In America, it's kind of bad, regardless of your race. But basically, if you look at certain communities, they really talk a lot about, just doing what needs to be done. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like, just do what needs to be done. If your husband is better at it, let your husband's gonna do it. If you're better at it, you do it. You know what I mean? And so I think there's an interdependence, right? But now we're trying to make such a big deal about the little things that kind of don't matter, But go ahead, Robbie.
But see, this is the caveat. The problem is nowadays most women are better at earning money, at managing money, at investing money, at making money grow than men are. Because women are kind of trained since they're little to sacrifice. Remember, when we're children, we're given baby dolls, we're given kitchenette sets, we're given little vacuums and ironing boards. We're taught how to keep a household. We're watching our mothers, and we come from a generation where our mothers were in the struggle. So I'll say about 50% of us said, oh, heck no, I'm not going to be in that struggle. So we strive to get education and push forward to elevate past that. And the other half said, oh, all right, well, this is okay. And it is what it is. So now we have that dichotomy in the mix of everything that's going on. The woman that's out there willing to be dealing with the struggle of, because she's not expecting life to be any more than what she had growing up. And the woman that has been taught to never settle and to strive for more. So then you have these men that have been coddled, because no matter how the girls have been pushed in our generation, you have grown men still sleeping on their mother's couch. They're 60 years old. They go home to mom. Mom washes their clothes. She cooks their food. She irons for them. They don't have to pay no bills or accountability. So a lot of these men nowadays are really looking for someone to take that role. Or if they are accustomed to a certain thing, they'll tell a woman what is not required for her, because they know that that is not what they can provide. And that is what the major issue is with the modern woman. We have learned to evolve with the fiscal economy, and the other 75% of the community has not, but they keep having these children. And that winds up being a factor too, because if you grew up in a home where or there was the struggle, inherently you should want better for your children. So you're going to push to make sure they can go and get certain educations. You want to make sure they have certain clothes, certain availability, that there's never food insecurity. You want to make sure that they are more than okay. And the way a lot of these men ego is set up, they can't accept, okay, you're not there financially, but I love you in spite of. It's no, because you're going to go be with the next dude that's doing better than me, because they're not confident in themselves. And reality is, truth be told, they shouldn't be. Because why are you not pushing yourself to do better? Why are you not pushing yourself to exceed abundantly above for your progeny? No, what we have is these spaces where dudes are complaining about child support. And we all know child support is 20% of a check. So if the national average is $430, that means weekly child support payments is $105, which means the gross on that man's paycheck is like $550 max. $550 max over 52 weeks is $24,000. So if you are comfortable resting on $24,000, no, they're not even comfortable with that. They're trying to do, as Darwin said, have the pick me's. Me can eke a little bit of money out of 10 chicks, because if they get $50 from 10 chicks, they got an extra $500. They throwing it in the stash. They in these streets. They trying to flip packages. They getting beat for what they trying to flip, because they really not street dudes, but they just trying to make a little extra something and have a come up. So, and then they want the upper echelon woman that's really about that life. That's what speaks to their soul. But because they're not ready to really go get that education and break those bonds and grow up, they then wind up resenting that woman. And that is what you see in these spaces. A bunch of little boys that's not ready to man up and grow up for real. Some of them done lucked up on and landed in a position where they're making a couple of pennies. Because let's be honest, if you're making less than $200,000, you really not high value when you account for housing costs, gas costs, groceries, bills, inflation, transportation, insurance. You're really bringing home pennies on the dollar. But they got to make that image seem like they the man. Yeah, I'm the man. Come holler at me. And then, they emotionally and financially abuse women. And even when I brought up the topic of financial abuse over the past week, it was oh no, that's not a thing. It doesn't really happen. That's not domestic violence. It is. You holding back your woman and your family and your children from being the best they can be because you are less than. Let me be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet.
Hey, yes,
Exactly.
Preach tonight.
yes.
He's really hitting on that manipulation that we've talked about a little bit before, of where there are a segment of men, right, who fit that bill, who fit everything she just said, right? And so now you have to manipulate women into thinking what you think, into thinking, you're asking for too much to want a man that can just simply provide. Or remember, we had that guy on here who was, I won't say his name, but he didn't understand. It was just such a bad thing for us to want a man who was ambitious. Like, who knew? Like, you could get so much criticism for just wanting an ambitious man.
But it's like, think about it, Ashley.
Ambitious doesn't have to mean you're a millionaire or close to it. It just means that you have some goals in your life.
And you striving for better.
Yeah,
and think about
right.
even with what that man said, and when you talk about like the actual reality that we're living in when it comes to the income that's being brought into this house. So basically, you want me to bring in the bulk of the money or half of the money, but still come in here and pretend like that's not what I'm doing, just so that you can feel good about yourself. And so, like, my whole thing is, even if you wanted to feel personally convicted and feel some type of way, to be like, okay, well, I feel emasculated because my woman out earns me. Like, if that's how you find yourself feeling, then why don't you go get some extra jobs or something, or do something else?
Yeah.
Like, why would you try to bring me down and bring, again, our family down just so that you could feel like a man? Or next you're going to go out here and cheat with women who don't have anything, right? So that they can make you feel like a man because you can't feel like a man in your household because you aren't contributing enough.
First off, I hate these guys that always saying a woman is making them feel less than a man. You really not a man. How can anybody make you feel less of a man? That just doesn't even sound right. So when a man says that, those words come out of man's mouth, I automatically write him off about anything else he's about to say, right? Because if you can't be a man all the time, then you just not a man at all. It's not I'm a man when I'm around this certain woman, and I'm not a man when I'm around this certain woman, and this woman makes me feel like a man. If you don't feel like a man at any point in your life, then just be a woman and go do what women do. And that's what a lot of these men are doing. They're doing a lot of the stuff that they complain about women doing, and they start doing it. They complain about things and nagging and stuff like that. But all we see all day long is men complaining about what women don't do and what women do, instead of just being a leader and just create the environment that you want. That's what leaders do. So go and create that environment that you want. If you can't do that, then hey, that's not the. Just go fault, get that pick me, and be happy and stay in your little nest, and and do that.
Yeah, I agree. I do realize that men, they want to be around, as they say, feminine women, right? But I think that unfortunately, that manipulation that's at play is making people think, or perpetuating this idea amongst men, and trying to make women think that being feminine is like, oh, you can't have something going on for yourself. It's like, is it really the issue that the woman is too independent?
No.
that there's something in you that makes you feel inadequate. And I had someone share this with me one time, that he felt inadequate. He said that to me because of the money that he made, right? Or the lack, or he thought he didn't make enough money. And I'm like, but so there are a lot of men who are thinking like this, like they feel inadequate, and maybe they had that one girlfriend who played them because they didn't have a nice car, or whatever it was, right?
Or just
sounds like some game. That sound like some game.
And the large scheme of things, it's like women. I don't think most women are out here like saying they don't want a man to open the door for them.
But
that's the thing. It ain't got nothing to do with the women. It's got everything to do with men not being intentional and realizing that all behavior is a choice. You feel inadequate, go do something about it.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all what happened to dude.
80% of what come on my couch is men, and that's what I tell them.
Do something about it, Miss Jovo, and what they go do is go do what they used to doing, which is satisfy themselves sexually. That's all they know how to do.
That's all they know how to do. That dude that put that video out, this is what happened, right? He was meeting women off these online sites, these chat rooms and stuff like that. As soon as he went to go pick him up, the date was over. She didn't want nothing from him. She didn't want him to open the door. She didn't want him to pay for a meal. She didn't want nothing from him. She was done. As soon as she saw the dude, she was like, you know what? Oh, it's over with. Don't you ain't got to be no gentleman to me. Don't pay for this. I got everything. And that's why he get them feelings from. Like, they don't want me to open the door for them. They don't want me to pay for their dinner. They don't want me to do anything. Because it was done before it happened. And so she didn't
want him to think that he was entitled to nothing.
Him to think it was gonna be a second date.
This is all platonic.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what he getting that feeling from. And now he's feeling less of a man because he can't do all these like you said, these crazy things that he think women want. Like, these women are independent. They don't need you to pay for a dinner. And he probably missed his beat because a woman was probably feeling him until he started getting into that little mindset of, I can't be a man because I can't pay for this. And now he done messed up his come up. You know what I'm saying? So, dude,
so he was in his feelings.
Damn. Doors. I do open doors and pay for meals, so I can't be a man now. Dude, get your oh my god.
I got something.
But this is the thing, though. I think most women give off like nonverbal cues, though, when a man is not enough for them. Because honestly, my mother told me from when I was super, super young, there are certain type of men you cannot be with because there's too many things that you do for yourself. So it builds up a resentment, unfortunately, because the woman starts to feel like, well, if I could do this for me, why aren't you meeting me where I'm at? Then the man starts to feel like, well, if I'm not doing this for you, who is doing this for you? So regardless to whatever a woman is doing, even if she's suffering through the iniquity, it always winds up being a situation where, oh, well, you must be messing with somebody else. You must be dealing with somebody else because I said you can't have this, so I can't provide this for you, and you still coming up with this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But the other problem is that, again, people, and especially, it's men more than women because of socialization, not because a man is a man and a woman is a woman, right? But men are not taught how to be in relationships. They just are not. They're taught how to get women in bed, right? They're taught how to juggle women. They taught how to do all of this stuff other than actually be in a relationship and what that actually means and what that actually looks like. And when you hear them speak, it is clear that they have no clue what their role is in a relationship. And so that's why they're complaining about all of these superficial things and have all of these ridiculous expectations, but have none for themselves. And I think even when we were on your show the other night, Raw, when the guys came up to speak and they were saying, that, you know, they have the women that they play with and the women that they take seriously, depending on how the woman act and all those other things. What it made me think of, it's like these men have to understand, because I was on another show. It was his name is Themis, and he does a really good show. And one thing that he said about men that stuck out so much was that, you know, when it comes to things like discipline, that is a muscle that you have to work. And so, yeah, it's fine, you know, that you haven't figured out who you want to be with yet or haven't found that right one. But why do you think just because you feel like you've been coming across these women that you don't take seriously, so those are not the ones, but this is the way that you are practicing relationships? So when you do find that woman that does fit your criteria or whatever, how are you going to know how to be in a relationship with her when you have not worked that muscle? You have
exactly.
Discipline. You have not practiced integrity. You have not practiced how to talk to somebody and how to respect them and all those other things, because you think it's okay to deal with these other women that's not the one. So I could treat her this way and that way. No, you're going to get in this relationship with the woman that you do love and treat her the same way, because that's all you've been practicing to do.
Exactly.
These
Exactly.
men have to realize that when you intimidated by a woman that's independent, making her own money, and she's educated and she can do for herself, if you can't handle that type of woman, it's what that's letting people know is that you're just a weak-minded person and you don't want to force to elevate yourself. To if my wife is making more money than me and I have a problem with that, I'm not gonna make that her problem. I'm just going to simply work harder and go make more money than her. If I need that to make me feel better about myself, I'll just go out and hustle and make more money, get another job, or whatever the case may be. That's not going to be her problem. And I'm not going to say, oh, you're making me feel like this. No, she's being who she is. She's living a great life. She's providing for herself. Why should I come in there and be like, you need to stop doing this and let me be the man, or you need to, like, how can you even helpless situation to a woman? What I'm gonna tell you, do take a pay cut, get demoted, like what's going, like, how do you make yourself feel more of a man and to try to make a woman feel to be less independent? Like, it doesn't even add up.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Have that, like,
because it's so much easier. It's easier to point out what somebody else is doing versus work on yourself.
Yeah.
And like I said, 80% of what come on my couch, they're men. Robbie said it earlier. They need to go to therapy. Now they coming. And what they're discovering about themselves is that I'm using sex, I'm using drugs and alcohol, I'm using all these self-destructive behaviors as a way to deflect what I should be working on, which are those feelings of inadequacy, the level of hatred and dislike I have towards the core women in my life, which usually, Robbie said it in the beginning, their mothers not having an emotional attachment to them. Okay. I'm only learning like the external things. No one ever taught me how to discover my internal inner self. I know how to provide. I know how to get a paycheck. I know how to do mundane things, but when it comes to relating to other human beings, period, I don't know how to do that. And that's what they discovered about themselves. And so, yeah, the reason why they're demonstrating some of this behavior is because it's easier to say, well, the woman needs to, she need to simmer down a little bit because I need to feel and look a certain way. And it's like, no, sir, that's not what it is. You can't control what other people do. You control what you do. But see, when you start having that conversation, it's, oh, you're being aggressive. It's
and I think
it's
that
crazy.
When Cannon mentioned that, they get with the woman they love and they still treat her the same way, I think because, to your point, they're not trying to get in a relationship. They're trying to get the woman to shrink herself, be as small as possible, don't cause any waves in my life, like all the things I like, do all the things I do, get on my program, and just be an object in my life as, what I want my life to look like, per se. But I think it goes back to the pygmy thing, because they're preaching the same message. Oh yeah, girls, y'all are too independent. That's really what it is. See, y'all need to stop. And it's so
Wait a minute, you want
counterproductive.
them to be independent or you want them to stay home? I mean, which one is it?
I think people should do
They
well.
want you to be.
It's not making sense. It doesn't pan out.
Right.
They want you to be independent and doing well, but not better than them. They want you to be
Mhm.
doing enough to contribute to the household, but
Yeah.
not doing so much so that you don't always
Outshining
have to be over there. Yeah, like, oh, Zaddy, we need this. What we finna do? Oh, Zaddy, this bill due. Can you handle that? Oh, Zaddy, I need you to do this. Oh, no. And, you know,
just
that
like
it's cool or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Every now and again, do a little ego stroke and all right. Yeah, great.
right.
But when you got
So-
things to do, especially when you got kids, listen, the way mother's mentality is set up, you don't got time to be waiting on nobody else to fix,
Period.
cover, repair, nothing these kids need right now.
Right now. Exactly.
What were you
No,
gonna say?
And,
Leon?
and us men should be able to understand that. What was that?
No, I was gonna ask you what were you gonna say? Yeah.
No. Well, mine. Here's what I'm not contemplating. Maybe I'm living in Stone Ages. Maybe I'm not listening to what any of these egotistical maniacs got to say because it absolutely makes no sense. What's wrong with a woman earning more than her man? At the end of the day, we're gathering up our income and
Together.
it's helping more than hurting us.
Yeah.
I make more than my wife, but I don't brag on it. I
Yeah.
don't brag on it at all. We gotta pay bills.
And I
And it-
love that you said that because that actually is going to be another topic. Men who weaponize being the breadwinner. You know, like, have you guys been in these spaces or seen conversations and the guy almost like weaponizes it? Well, how dare this woman?
I'm the one bringing in the money, so you got to do what
Yeah,
I say, and I can do whatever I want, and yeah.
My wife ain't got to do nothing.
I can't picture my grandfather doing that, and even some of the other men that I
Right.
know, like my friend's husband, like certain men who really are the breadwinners, right? Being that way. It used to be that men were like, this is my family, so I'm gonna take care of my family. Not like this is extra. You know, like this is an extra thing. You know, it's like, oh, I'm doing all of this, so you should be doing it. And I do agree that, you know, if anytime you're married, you know, the wife has a role and a duty to her husband. I don't care if he's making the money or not, right? If you are married, you have a duty to your husband, right? But to say, oh, you have a duty that's different because I'm the breadwinner, to me that seems very egotistical and like it's like a little manipulative. Like, I'm bringing home all this money, so you know you should be asking me to do this, or I can exercise options, like, or you know they'll try to weaponize it with other women. Like, well,
Right.
you know, I'm a breadwinner in my family.
Well,
It
Bobby
used
was
to not
bringing
be
up
like
on her show when she said, you know, financial abuse, and so many of them didn't even understand what that
Mhm.
was, and they were advocating for it. They were basically advocating for it. They were like, you know, because she doesn't need to have any money, and like she doesn't need to do this because then I can do. And it's like you're basically advocating for financial abuse. Like that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Want that.
And you see how you said that though, right? I get all this money, so I don't have to do this. Real sassy. Now, I just did a show today about masculine women. And that's another thing that I find hilarious. That's what really, like, you see when he first said, don't be a masculine woman. I'm looking like, do they even really understand the terminology that they're throwing out of there?
No.
Masculine energy is logical, created, centered, focused, goal-driven energy. These men, and I want the women that see this podcast especially to understand, these men are trying to shame you for being logical, centered, focused, assertive, and goal driven, because they want you to behave like Ditsy Blondes. And that's why I had an issue with KS with the, oh, well, no man wants a woman that's smart. I don't believe that he was lying with what he was saying, because it's true. Men don't want women that are smarter than them. And a lot of these men exist very much in their feminine energy. But a lot of these dudes are lacking testosterone. If they understood science, they would understand. Men and women have testosterone and estrogen. It's the hormonal balance within the sexes that keeps everything afloat. So they want women not to have any masculinity. Well, God said no. God said we need to have that in order to be able to have cognitive function, to be happy, to be balanced, to want to engage with people, to want to have sex with them, to be attracted to them on any level. It's why in the Bible it says the two should cleave to one another and become one flesh. The way God set us up down to the atomical level, we are paired to perfection. So these men that sit out, they promote all of this, you know, sleeping with multiple women or whatever else. You're not even following God's design. So you're all out of order. I just listen to these dudes and I'd be laughing. You know, you try to talk to them, but I done gave up on them. They heathens, you know. God bless them and keep them. May they works be pull out gems instead of ashes in the fire.
Yeah.
So,
No Christianity for me.
I got a story.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take it to church real quick.
I got a story.
She ain't lying. She ain't lying. She just told the whole truth. Like she's not lying.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you don't even want to be held accountable for your behavior, yet understand it on your own. But you spewing out terminology, and then you got the nerve to be using the terminology wrong. She ain't lying.
And I'm such a simp. Oh.
What were you gonna say, Darwin?
So we had some married couples over one time, and you know, all the guys was looking at me like, man, you need to your wife talking out the side of her mouth. You know what I'm saying? You ain't go check her and this and that. You know, my wife has a lot to say about a lot of different topics and stuff like that. And you know, one specific one of my friends, his wife, she was just so disgusted on how my wife was just asserting herself into these conversations and just talking with the fellas. You know, we just having a nice time, we drinking, just chatting it up, politicking and stuff like that. This lady was so disgusted that she had the nerve to email me and tell me that you need to tell your wife she don't always have to say anything and she don't have to have an opinion about everything and this and that. And I was like, whoa, hold on now. My wife is very smart. You know, she has a lot to say about a lot of things, you know, and I'm not about to tell her nothing. You know, she can say what she want to say, you know, but but that just goes to the point where like you just know that a lot of women are in these abusive households, not physical abuse, but mentally abusive and emotionally abusive households where they can't even be their true self because they're afraid that they're going to lose their husband, because if they don't make him feel as masculine as he needs to feel, that he's going to look at her like she's too masculine and she's not a woman, and they're going to walk away. So these women are a shell of themselves. And, you know, that's no way to live for anybody, you know, like these men that has these women feeling like that, they are really like, you know, I don't even want to say bad words. I'm just going to say disgusting.
I just think
That's
about
my favorite word, disgusting.
I just think about in today's time with inflation, you know, just with inflation and how, you know, the value of the dollar is like it always has, is decreasing, but it seems to be exponentially decreasing. Like it's decreasing very fast. And so it's like you would think that in our community, men wouldn't find such an issue with women who are deciding to pursue certain careers. Because here's the thing, most homes will need two incomes, right? And like Robbie said, is most men are not going to tell you, you know, what she said, which is they don't mind you making money. They just don't want you to make more than them. Right. And I get why. Cannon talks about this often. You know, there are societal pressures that men have to be the breadwinners. Right. And yes, there are women who look down on men who are not the breadwinners. Right. But I think we have to just look at reality and make decisions based off of reality. You know, a woman who's the breadwinner of her home is not necessarily a woman that's going to emasculate you. And just because she's the breadwinner doesn't mean you're less of a man. And there are just so many different, you know, associations that people are making to women who are just out here trying to use our God-given talents. some of which happen to be useful outside of the home and can be used to make money. And it's like, we talked about this before. We've had a history of being oppressed, not being able to have certain jobs, not being able to be represented in government, not being able to run for office, and so we want to do those things, and we can do so many things inside the home and outside of home. And a lot of men seem to think that if we're doing things outside of the home, that we couldn't possibly be doing them inside of the home. I don't know about y'all, but every woman that I know is a multitasker, and women can do the things that we've been told that we're supposed to do: cook, clean, do laundry, do all these things with our eyes closed. Okay.
The problem is they don't want to pick up the slack.
I know doctors, I know a few lawyers, I know like 2 or 3 business owners, several women that have all types of careers. And guess what? They still do all those things at home. They're wives, they're moms, they're doing all those domestic things, but they are able to use other skills. And it's like, that's just reality. It's 2022. And so as opposed to trying to make it seem like women are too independent, there's no such thing as being too independent. You're either independent or you're not, and if you're a grown person, and you're not married, you're supposed to be paying your own bills, right? You're supposed to be taking care of yourself. That's what adults do. So I think the term too independent is just another blow, to basically mostly Black women, right? Because it's usually associated with us, right? And it's just to kind of get us to kind of, to decrease ourselves. And we have to remember where this came from. People act like, I ain't forget. Remember back in like the 90s, what was the thing? It wasn't too independent. It was chicken heads, gold diggers. We were all these things. We were associated to being the one.
In the early 2000s, we was Miss Independent. We was, Miss.
Exactly.
It changed. Exactly. So it changed, and Black women kind of took on to it, and so now it's like a negative thing. And it's like, but think about where it came from. Like, nobody had a problem with us being chicken heads and gold diggers and welfare queens, right? Nobody had a problem with that. But now Black women are like, no, I'm going to get my own too. Think about this. They always use that song, Destiny's Child, Independent Woman. But think about the song before that they had, Bills, Bills, Bills. And how everybody dogged them on that song because they thought that they were saying, oh, I need a man to pay my bills, bills, bills. She came out with Independent Woman, and now so now that's a problem too. It's like there's just,
but they weren't even listening to the song because the song was talking about that's just like them having a problem with the song Scrubs, right? Like the song Scrubs was about somebody being a mooch, somebody being somebody who's not doing anything with their lives.
All them niggas got mad about it.
Generalized.
That's who they are.
Like why?
Exactly. How dare you call me out on my non-ambition riding in the passenger seat of a car? Like, how dare you tell me my truth in a song and win multiple Grammys for it? Okay, how dare you do that? You know what I say? You know what I say every week with Black women? It's always something, because we got 2 zillion things that we need to do, and then there's 2 million more that we ain't doing. Oh, and you're doing too much of this and you're doing too much of that. Or why you got this in your head and why you ain't wearing this, and why we can go on and on and on and on, and it's all deflection. It's all deflection.
If y'all don't bring y'all own morning after pill to the party, then y'all ain't independent.
Right. Protect your own womb, because if you have a baby, don't expect me to do nothing. I'm using the phone that you paying for to cheat on you, so I don't got nothing on
it. You ain't pay for your own abortion. Exactly. You ain't pay for your own abortion. You ain't independent, goddamn.
This guy got up on Demon's channel last night, and he was dead serious. He said they want submissive providers.
Submissive providers.
That sounds about right.
That is exactly what happened.
It makes sense.
He was dead serious. He said,
they are.
He said, as a woman, like you.
We
to bring the money in, but you need to be submissive. We want submissive.
We had a guest on that show.
Said. He was like,
exactly.
My wife runs 3 businesses, but I take care of her. She don't work. How does that? In what world is she running businesses and also not working? And also
exactly.
What?
Or going back to what Ashley said, this is my favorite one, and I really had to call out one of my husband's friends on this because I'm married to a blue collar worker, so he out in the elements working. My husband is a mechanic. He in and out of the garage. He walk a lot all day looking for cars. He got to work on whatever. And I get that. And that's great. That's what he does. But one of his friends said at one point, well, you don't work as hard as he do. He works in the elements and you work behind a desk and an AC and a heater. And after he said it, I said, did you feel good saying that? Because I said, what I see is your insecurity of why she get to work in certain environments. Like we all got different roles that we play. Don't get it twisted. Like we all got different roles, and one is not better than right. But just as Cannon has said on the show, and Robbie mentioned this tonight, women, we not only got to come to work, we got to deal with these kids. We got to deal with things that go on with these children. My daughter calendar is about as big as mine. Like seriously, like especially during the summer, it's camp and recitals and it's sleepovers and birthdays and all these different things. And then we got right. And then it's family reunions and that emotional kinship stuff. All of these different things that I'm that professional woman who is married and I take on all those roles. But what the biggest thing with me and my husband, I'm always having to remind him that this is a team effort. So like if you want to support, if you don't want me to be quote unquote too independent, guess what? Hey, can you load this dishwasher for me while I do this? Can you go drop her off and do this? Can you? And it took us a long time to come to that point in our marriage, but we're there. Like, can you want to help? You want me not to take on all the load? Okay, do this then, because this is where I need you. Because there's a fine line between she too independent and this dude talking about opening and closing doors and all this stuff that don't really matter and they're just formalities versus you're not in a situation by yourself. Your partner should be able to lighten that load. There's a line between that. There's a difference between that. And I think these guys, they use this as a form of manipulation to say, oh, well, I ain't washing no dishes and I ain't cooking no meals. I want to be in these traditional gender roles. Oh, but by the way, you need to be bringing X amount of dollars home. And by the way, you need to let me open the door when we go to the movies. Like, it make your head hurt. It's crazy.
You need to understand that you're not going to be in no relationship where you're going to do everything that you want to do.
Right.
I've never been in a relationship, whether
exactly
it's with my wife or it's a relationship with a friend. I've always done some things that I didn't want to do because I value the relationship that I have. And I know it'll make that other person feel a little bit better or take the load off that person. If you're a caring person for that person, you're going to do some things that you don't want to do. Like, I don't want to wash dishes. I don't want to wash clothes. I don't want to do a lot of stuff in my marriage. But I know that's what I need to do for that balance to work. And so my wife won't be overworked. And so I can get me some at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do stuff like that.
But let's not act like dudes don't participate in the household chores either, because they don't really want some at the end of the night. They have their one woman that they want to keep as the stable woman there to make the house a home. And then they want to be freaknicking off with all the little prostitutes all over the social medias and in the streets. So I think some men intentionally act a whole donkey and like they don't know what is expected of them or what to do, just so they have that additional freedom. Oh, well, she tired today. She had to do so much because I had to do nothing. Oh, well, she mad at me today. Let me go on ahead and do whatever I want to do. Oh, well, she washed all these clothes. I'm not going to fold nothing. Oh, well, she don't want to cook something. I'm complaining because she wanted to go to Little Caesars. Oh, well, because they just want to have that chaos so they don't have any accountability or culpability. And when the situation falls apart, they can say, oh, no, it wasn't me. It was you.
Exactly. They call it weaponized incompetence.
What you say?
How long did it take you to find your husband?
I never was looking for him. It took him forever to find me.
Hey, you better speak, man.
Game on lock, don't you?
Rob B for president. I'm gonna say it now. No.
Hey, we need to have Rob B on the show when our two other guests come on. The two guests we had the week before last. That should be interesting.
She's been on the show. She know how to get down.
Oh,
Yeah.
Who's the? Tell me in the bad chat. But that sounds like a plan. But I mean, I've been living life a long time, and I see a lot of relationships go up and go down. Plus, I've been in my own relationships that have their ups and downs. So it's refreshing to be with a panel of women and gentlemen that are willing to have these conversations honestly, because these people are selling the public a pipe dream. Oh, well, I was a whore and I had a kid outside of marriage. And then I got married. We've been married for 30 years and everything is perfect. No, you're lying and you're a liar. Because somewhere in that 27 years, y'all done had a moment where y'all done broke apart. Y'all done had a moment where there was a couple of months where you couldn't even stand to look at each other. There's a lot that is going on. So stop selling these dreams to these little girls while trying to tear down their self-confidence and their self-image. I'm going to tell all the ladies in the world. They try to say, oh, if you fat, ain't nobody going to pick you. Wrong again, because a lot of dudes love the thickness, honey. Dudes that can handle it, if you understand what I mean. They love the thickness.
Yeah.
That cannot have the problem, and they need them size 0 Cheerio girls, because you can put a pencil in a Cheerio and it's all good, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But they don't care nothing about none of the stuff that they talk about on this social media, please.
Yeah, I just think, like, just to bring it back to like that whole Miss Independent or Too Independent topic, it's like it's just evidence of us needing to dig deeper, and you guys have touched on that. It's like, okay, so let's say she does step back so you can open the door, and she does act like this box too heavy so you can pick it up. Okay, what now? What about 6 months from now? What about 12 months from now? What about once y'all get married, and she start doing a whole lot of other stuff? Is she gonna be too independent then?
Exactly.
Are you going to be willing to kind of pull your weight then? And then do you guys know how to relate to each other? We don't talk enough about, I think Leon, like you mentioned earlier, repentance before God, but also apologizing to each other, forgiving. Like, we don't talk enough about those things. Those are the things that really make good relationships. And I don't just mean romantic relationships in general. We're being given playbooks, right? Or not even a playbook. Because if it's a playbook, it's a bad playbook. They're more so like little instructions, little things to do, but not wisdom that really gives you a blueprint for struggles in your relationship, And so that's why that guy, like, on surface, I wasn't mad at him, because I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, he just wants to take on those traditional roles. Me, y'all know, I don't mind traditional roles. I want a man to open the door for me. Like, I like stuff like that. I don't have a problem doing traditional things.
No one does that anymore.
But that's what I'm gonna say.
Men open the door for women all the time. Exactly. It's not because they're traditional. It's because they're trying to look at your butt.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you start to really think about it, outside of the surface, it's like, wait a minute. He's doing one or two things. He's trying to capitalize off of Black women again, talking about all the, like Jovo says, the 900 billion things to do, capitalizing off of that, because that's a whole business right there. Telling Black women how we can be better. That's a whole business, right? So telling
we need reparations off that.
Right. And so it's like he's either doing that, playing into that market, or he is one of these guys that's being a little manipulative, that's trying to get the woman who he feels like he's inadequate in relation to be less than. So it's like, because like I asked before, how many women are out here mad because a man because a man is trying to open the door for them?
Or
let
me be honest about that whole open the door thing, though,
it's not really an issue,
because
it's because they want to check you out. That's it. Nice.
It's gonna be stupid. Okay, my husband used to open the door for me all the time when we first started like dating. Sometimes when we go out on a date, right, he may go open the door, but I'm not gonna be sitting there looking dumb waiting for him to open the door every time we go out to the car. Like, this is stupid. Like, I'm just like my arm's not broke. Like, what are we doing here?
Like, some people like traditional roles, but those things typically kind of dissipate over time.
That's
right?
what I mean. Like, I'm just sitting about a car like, let me get in the car and sit down.
Yeah, after
You ain't had an independent woman until she tell you she not about to go to no more $40 motels, and now you just stuck at the crib.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't do nothing. You know, that's what I mean.
With the refrigerator that don't work.
You know what I'm saying? What you mean you ain't about to go to this $40 hotel? Hell wrong with you? Who do you think? I pay for us another? No, we gonna go to this $40 hotel. You know what I'm saying? That's what we gonna do. Stop trying to be too dependent.
But these sheets got bed bugs.
You being combative and aggressive.
See, they're not talking about the real stuff. They talking about these little doors and little meals. Bro, we know when you my wife pulled that stunt on me one time, and it was like I was kind of salty. I had to step my game up. And it seems like I still ain't stepped it up because you know what? Let's go to the other side of this. Can a woman be too independent? Hell yeah, she can. Y'all seen Disappearing Acts. Y'all saw that, right? With Wesley Snipes.
Yes. That is a perfect.
He bought her those tickets, and she wanted better tickets, and she was like, "I'll go." She like, "It don't matter. I'll pay the extra." And he went off like, "You just go shit on my tickets like that." So yeah, a woman can be too independent.
Wait a minute. We can't go see the Skybox. Wait a minute. What?
If she can afford the difference, what's the problem?
Exactly. Why you mad?
That was rude. That was ungrateful. I don't even.
He bought her some tickets for her birthday to take her out with his hard-earned money.
Exactly.
That he worked for. He thought he was doing something nice, and she didn't accept that. She had to go and upgrade the tickets. Yeah. No.
I never seen the movie. I've never seen the movie.
No, this is the problem.
That sounds like a nice thing to do.
This is the problem with these Negroes. No, I'm not accepting that. Okay, we deserve. No, we deserve.
That was rude. That was rude.
No. Once you have reached a certain level of success, and once you have gotten accustomed to living a certain way and having a certain experience, you cannot go back down. So to expect me,
but then she shouldn't have.
That's like riding the bus with a man because he ain't got no car. That's like, you know what? I'm used to being on the bus, so be on the bus with me.
Not the same thing.
We used to ride the bus all the time.
Okay, but I don't anymore. And now we're in Uber.
Fall in love with a bus pass.
Well,
now we're
do you be with
hold on, wait a minute. No, he talking all of this mess. Do you want to tell them about our anniversary?
Go ahead.
Hey, I'm giving Darwin cool points for surprising her for inviting me and Mr. Mosley because we had a nice time at the dinner. She was so surprised, her little face lit up. I'm on your side, Darwin. I'm throwing the point in there.
We can tell it. It's only gonna make you look bad, Miss Independent. It's only gonna make you look bad.
He planned a trip out of town, right? He did all the planning, all the stuff. But the hotel, boo.
But wait. Let me just say this. Now I'm gonna be a bad guy. No. What I had to learn, because I'm on year 18 of marriage. And what I had to learn was that Mosley, he ain't gonna do it like I do it sometimes, but I need to appreciate the plan. I gotta appreciate it. I gotta do it, and I ain't gonna. In the moment, I'ma just okay, because I in the moment I'm gonna be like, okay, so okay, it ain't this hotel that y'all have stayed in 200 times. He gonna go to this one. Let me just. I ain't gonna say nothing. Let me just. I'm grateful. I'm grateful, babe. Or like with raising our daughter. It's certain things that I will do that she knows this is what mama does and this is how mama do it. But then he may say, okay, no, you get to do it this way today. You know, I'm in charge. No, and I'm like,
okay with that.
And I'm wait.
If the standard is the same, cool. But if we're going down,
go in the room.
Wait, what you say?
I ain't gonna say down. I don't want to say down. I'm
Mrs. Understanding, what you say? I'm sorry.
gonna say different.
I haven't seen the movie Disappearing Act, so I guess I'm missing some kind of context there. I probably should see it to really get it. But in the event a man I'm not even like in a serious relationship with, or if it's just a date or whatever, you buy me tickets and I say, you know what, actually I'm normally in the Skybox. I'll pay the difference. Let's go kick it in the Skybox. Why would he? I don't understand why you'd be upset.
This is what happened. So they had been in a serious relationship. They were probably
so they were like a couple.
They were probably like a year in, right? They loved each other. They were like really tight, right? But he made significantly less than she did, and she was like the breadwinner. He was still trying to get on his feet. I think she moved into his house and all types of stuff, right? Okay. But he was good to her. Obviously they on two different sides of the track, like got two different lifestyles. He surprised her with some tickets to see a play or a concert or something that she was really excited about. But he could only afford, or he chose to get her the seats that were, I'm sure he could only afford like the seats like up
the
high.
Nosebleed seats. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Listen,
right. And if I was accustomed to the Skybox,
you would come then. You should.
This is why y'all so ungrateful.
Let me tell you something.
No, we're in a relationship.
What y'all
you should know. You should know better. You should know better.
It ain't about knowing better.
Hold on.
Bring it down.
No, hold on.
Once you
Time
reach
out.
a certain level, you can't.
Exactly. That's like expecting me to ride the bus. Like,
they come then. She shouldn't be with him.
No, I agree with you, but what I'm telling you is that if the last time I went to go see Beyonce, I was in the Beehive section, I'm not sitting in the nosebleeds next time. I'm going back to the Beehive.
Let me tell you bus pass for your birthday.
Let me tell you why this selfish.
I don't ride the bus. I don't want a bus.
Let me tell you why this is selfish. Because they was in a relationship.
She did buy the tickets. Let
me talk. Let me tell you why this is selfish. Because they was in a relationship and she knew what he was going through. He was in and out of jobs, lost his construction job. He had kids, child support, stuff like that. She knew his whole situation. Yes. So she knew he had limited amount of resources and money. So for him to even do that, she should have just chucked that up and been like, I'm gonna sit with my man because he obviously
y'all talk all this shit, but I guarantee you,
it's just like this.
At the nosebleeds, he'd be like, "Oh,
it's just like this.
I wish I could get you there."
Hold on. If a millionaire takes you to a game and get you some Skybox tickets, is that more than a person that makes $100 that only has $100 and he spends $50 on your ticket? No, it's not more. That's a millionaire, so he can do more. But if this man only has $100, do something for you. You have to acknowledge the fact that he just sacrificed.
Versus a man who just got a carpentry job.
Go sit in the Skybox.
You're gonna be sitting in the Skybox by yourself.
You can acknowledge
that job, y'all.
You can acknowledge it and you can appreciate it, but you can still upgrade it.
Well,
I don't
know. I appreciate
He just got the job.
Thank you.
That he got hurt.
Thank you. So now I'm paying less for these wonderful tickets because I was able to upgrade them. Huh?
Didn't he hurt and then he got fired? He got fired for being hurt.
Y'all see what I'm dealing with.
Right. I have nosebleed seats. He'd be even more hurt because he'd have failed somewhere.
I have learned in marriage that it is not my job to try to interpret, analyze, and overthink any sweet and nice gestures that my husband makes for me. Okay, if you just think of me, I'm gonna be satisfied with that. I just had a birthday. Now my birthday last year, phenomenal. He planned the whole thing. I turned 40. Okay, I was excited. Birthday this year, he almost forgot. Okay, and I was in my feelings about it. I still am a little bit in my feelings about it because I'm just like, okay, it's my birthday. Like it's my birthday. It's my birthday. Like it's like, you could have came in here with a Hallmark card and I would be like, oh my God, babe, thank you. Because that's just who I am as a person. But I have learned that I cannot try to interpret every gesture that he does, because if I do that, if I try to break it down, analyze it, and I'm a therapist, by the way, this is what I do for a living. I do it all day. So I've had to say, okay, Jovo, turn that off, get this rose, It ain't 24 long stem roses, but it's this one long white one because he know you like white.
Get this rose. I was
And,
like,
and get this rose and just
She
say
got
thank you,
rose.
babe.
One that vibrate.
Thank you. Thank you for giving this to me. You pick your battles. You pick
you do
your
pick
battles.
your battles, Miss Jovo, but I think it's
You do.
like, but
And
see,
I'm gonna
there-
pick
see, I
this
think
one.
that there
Let me
are two
tell you,
things
this
that
one's
need to be
getting
at
picked.
play. Both people need to know
Listen.
their partners. So it's
Listen.
certain things that I'm not even gonna
Exactly.
do when it comes to him because I know what he likes and what he doesn't like.
Let me tell you how
So
much I
that's
know her.
important
Listen.
too.
While we on our
Listen.
way to the hotel in the Uber from the airport,
Listen.
we driving. I'm looking at the neighborhood like,
Take this red rose because I don't get you white. I get you red because the red is symbols of love. I'm gonna get you this red rose, all right, and then I'm gonna take you in the room and I'm gonna massage you down. Happy birthday, accept it.
Yeah. That's why I say you just have to know
she
your
talking about something. Yeah, okay.
Absolutely, positively not.
So,
I feel like this. There are certain days that you don't skimp out on.
Exactly.
You don't skimp out on birthdays. You don't skimp out on anniversaries.
I need to
don't
put you on
skimp out
speakerphone right now.
Christmas. You don't skip out on Valentine's Day. You have more than enough time in a year. These dates occur annually.
But
set your budget up correctly.
Well, I like to do
That
things
wasn't
more.
the
When it comes to
disappearing
Christmas,
ass
I like to do
situation,
things more for my kids, and my wife understands. She understands that, and we can just settle with gifts later on. But tradition is all about the kids.
Yeah.
But let me
I
finish.
want
Let
a
me
thank you
finish telling
card
y'all-
with
let
a
me
love
tell y'all
note.
what
That's
she
what I
did.
like. Write me something special.
Let me tell you how she made me feel. And I told her this too. I said, if this was years ago, before we would have had a big falling out. We would have probably been arguing, right?
This would have failed.
We in the Uber going to the hotel, and I'm looking, and I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, damn, this area don't even look like it's about to be a good hotel. When we driving, I'm like, but on the pictures, when I'm picking the stuff out, I'm like, oh, this a decent hotel, oh yeah, we in it, we lit, So we driving, we pull up to the hotel, and as soon as I look at it, I say, I'm in my head like, damn, she ain't gonna like this shit. So as soon as we walk in the hotel, they got like cautions tape up that like there's a leak in the roof. I'm like, shit. I go talk to the receptionist. About 10 seconds, I turn around, look at her. She like, oh, I booked us another room. The Uber on its way.
Exactly.
We wasn't even there like a whole minute. We never even seen the room, right?
Darwin. Okay, what's a good hotel in Vegas to go to?
A good hotel, Caesar's Palace, Palazzo. I know Vegas, Palazzo, Bellagio. Planet Hollywood is real good. The Wynn.
Would you take them to any 5-star hotel, even
everyone
the new?
except for the Strat.
Hey! I'll take it to the Strat. I'll take it to the Golden Nugget on the old strip. If it's the right,
yeah. Take it to the D.
I know the good stuff. I know the bad stuff. Sometimes you got to be like, we go stay here and we go ball out and have a great time.
But he knew that I wasn't staying there. Like, okay, this is.
I didn't know that because I didn't know what the hotel.
Knowing your partner. That's
but I mean, once you pulled up, you knew I wasn't about to stay there.
Exactly.
Only thing that I'm saying is you don't have to be ungrateful and you don't have to belittle and minimize your partner. I'm not saying that is cool or whatever. What I'm saying is
what Sanaa did was that though.
what I'm saying is that there was a point in time when I was younger, when I was at a different place in my life, whatever it was that you struggle and you do those things you did together. Once you've overcome that, I'm not going back to that for your ego for no reason.
Right.
I'm not gonna be uncomfortable. Like, one thing about me at my big age, I'm not paying money to be uncomfortable, period. Like, I'm not doing, like, I've worked too hard and I've done too much to ever do that. Like, to me, that's the silliest thing in the world. Like, if I'm spending money, I want to enjoy myself and I want to enjoy myself in the full capacity. Otherwise, I just won't spend the money. I won't do it at all.
We gonna go on a camping trip, see how your ass.
I won't do it at all. There were times when I was younger that was cool. But now at this point, at this age, no, I'm not doing that. Like, just talking about feel better now.
We gonna leave you on camping trips all by yourself. See,
But that's a completely different situation from what happened in Disappearing Act.
You have to see the movie because y'all make it seem like she.
I don't like that.
It's
So
a very
what,
good
hold
movie.
on, wait a minute. So what did she do? Did she just say, I want to upgrade the tickets, or
No,
was
look,
she
look,
like,
they already had the tickets. They bought the tickets from a
They
ticket
already
scalper
had
at
the
that.
tickets.
uh-huh.
So she bought the tickets. She wanted to get the new tickets for the. You know how when you go to plays and there be people out there scalping tickets and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
So you know she didn't even buy the regular price anyway. So it really wasn't like she was stunting on them, but she just wanted these better seats. You know what I'm saying? But the fact is, she knew his situation. If you still with a man after you know his situation, you have to accept those tickets because that's his situation. If
Why do you have to accept
Stay
that?
black. All I gotta do is stay black and die. That's all I gotta
you
do.
want a man
Praise him,
about tickets,
won't
go
he
get
do
a
it?
man.
Hallelujah.
Y'all
Wait a minute, so what that sound like to me is don't do that
Ungrateful.
struggle love, ladies.
Exactly.
Don't do the struggle
Don't do it
love.
then. She
Okay?
definitely was doing that struggle.
Sound
love.
like a
So
That sounds like egocentric behavior to me
Yes.
because I'm telling you right now, if I buy some tickets for my man to the Cowboys game and we all the way up in the nosebleed section in the rafters and he finds a way to get some
I love
50
you.
of the courtyard seats on the 50-yard line or whatever, I'm
Right.
not gonna be like,
Sideline.
man, you ungrateful. You ungrateful because I bought these tickets. I'm in the struggle. We sitting in the rafters. I'm gonna be like, oh, we had it.
I
Look, that's what I
would like if you gave me them cowboy tickets with the nosebleed seats. I'm telling you, we gonna rock out.
Hey, because guess what? We all know it's not about where you're sitting at, it's who you're sitting with.
Yes.
No, it ain't about what you
Right.
No, that's not
Who
true.
knows?
Oh,
The
Lord.
Now it ain't
The
about
lie
what you
detector
like.
determined
Okay,
that's
if
a
I'm
lie.
going to see
Oh,
Beyonce,
okay.
it's all
You
about
was
what
in a
I see.
nosebleed when we was going to go see Beyonce, so hush it up.
Hey, when I went to see Jasmine Sullivan, during my anniversary, hey, seeing her in VIP was much nicer than seeing her like way back in the general
But that's
admission
exactly
section in
my
the lawn
point, Miss
chair.
Double. I guess
On the
what I'm
Megatron
I get
saying
it.
is
you could have been
once
at
you got to
home.
a level, right, where you can experience certain
We
things,
get
or you can
that. Ain't
afford
no
to have
luxury
certain
just feels better.
experiences, then
Right.
the older you get, right, and once you have certain experiences, and when you can afford those experiences, you want to continue. You're not gonna be like if you get used to like you could have been flying coach your whole life, right, and then you start to be able to afford to fly first class. You're not gonna go back to coach. You're not.
She
Like
wants
you're
the
gonna be like,
ball
no.
all the way
Fact.
out.
Go
That's
back
a
to
fact.
I pay for it.
That's understood,
She
but
wants
the
the ball all the way
So
out.
you sitting the coach by
that
yourself.
it
Why
was
can't
a
you just
gift.
get the luxury package? I don't understand.
I guess for me, what I was trying to say was I just pick my battles. I know what to make a big deal out of after 18 years, and I know what I shouldn't be making a big deal out of. Now it's certain stuff, but everybody has their certain ways and certain things they want things to be done, and I get that part. So it's a balance. I think you just know.
Mr. Hill,
You know.
how long you been married?
Who, me?
Mr. Hill or Donald, how long have you been married?
6 years.
Oh,
I know, right?
6 long.
No, that's not.
Hey, wait till you get to where I'm at.
10 years.
But
Past
we've known
10.
each other.
You
But we've known
graduated.
each other for.
How
But
long
we've known
you
each
been
other for
married,
over
Leon?
25 years. So there's
How
that.
long you
known it
been
for about
married,
15
Leon?
years.
12 years.
12 years. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we've been messing around for more than 12 years. So
Yeah, we checked the broom a long
she
time.
said, "Don't worry about it, mind your business." She got it on lock.
We had some entanglements and some situationships.
I met my husband when I was 18, and I just turned 41. That is a freaking whole lifetime of the same person and their habits and all these. It go from being in love sometimes to being boyfriend, girlfriend, to husband, wife, to brother, sister, to. And it's funny because we'll get mad about some of the simplest stuff, but then when something great happens to one of us, what we doing? We picking up the phone, hey babe, or if it's funny, hey babe.
I used to tell people like you who was like in love with their high school crush, I'd be like, you don't even know if you're in love yet. You need to go get some more dick first.
Oh Lord.
I used to tell people that. I was like,
that is so rude.
Darwin, when my husband met me,
you don't know what you know. You it's just the only man you've been with that you don't even know. You need to go.
When my husband, when my husband met me, he said, he said you need to be dating other people. You know, on the show I've talked to you all about, you know, I think black people need to learn how to date, you know. And he was under the assumption that I was just so super into him that he was the only guy when we first met that I was actually going out on dates with. And I was like, oh, I date, you know. I go to the movies. We'll go to a play. We do this. And he was like, he was that exactly. And see, that's what I said. Black people need to learn how to date because having sex is not a date. That's having sex. Okay. Dating is where you spending time and space with somebody. And my husband, I don't think he knew any of that before until I came along, and I had to like educate him on. I could date you and not sleep with you. Like, I need you to chill out because, you know, in the beginning, you know, that's what he was, you know, trying to get me in these scenarios of you young and tender. Let me just, you know, and I'm like, nah, bro, we ain't finna do that. You know, so that's why I say black people need to learn how to date, you know, so you can know what it's like to relate to other people and spend time and space with folks. Yeah. Instead of shacking after knowing each other for 3 months, like
shacking.
Yeah. Shacking. That's what I said.
Shacking and hunching. Hunching and shacking.
You become Janet Jackson for one night. You know, just play a role.
People don't know how to limit themselves too. A lot of women go on these dates having more than 2 drinks. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. 2 drink minimum, like at the club. 2 drink maximum. Don't drink no more than 2.
That's dangerous.
My husband could stand the fact that I didn't drink while I was underage because we would go out. I'm 18, and I think at the time he was like 22. So they would go places and they'd be ordering drinks, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'll order you one. Like if you really want one." And I'm like, "No, I just got to know you. I'm not drinking around you. I need to be clear. I need to be clear and I need to see you interact with other people. I need to see you out in public and what you all about, you know." So
I'm just so mad you were so responsible at 18. I just can't stand it.
The adults in my life, my ongoing joke is that I've been an adult even when I shouldn't have been an adult. I should have been allowed to be a child. So now when I act silly, it looks odd to people, and I'm like, you got to get to know me and understand my early life because the adults around me, they didn't allow me to be a kid. I had anxiety and worries at age 8 like a 30-year-old would have. So it's like, you know, so I had to make good choices.
Well,
it wasn't optional.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got to go to work, and I have to be at work in around 2 hours, but it's been fun. It's been great.
Before you go, 1 second. I want you to give your famous last words. We're about to close out anyway, but I want you to give your famous last words. All right. So basically, what do you want people to remember about what you said tonight? So you got to keep it under 60 seconds. All right. Famous last words.
Cherish one another. I say this all the time on my lives. Cherish one another. Celebrate one another. Laugh and play and joke with one another. Because you only get this one time in life to live your life. Cherish it.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for coming. We on live. All right. Famous last words. Who likes to go next?
I'll go.
All right, Cannon. 50 seconds.
Okay, I don't even need 60 seconds. Just if you don't take anything else away from this live, ladies, no struggle love. Don't do struggle love. Then you don't have to worry about, stroking egos and dumbing yourself down and taking less than what you are used to and what you deserve. So no struggle love.
All right. Thank you. Jovo, you want to go? Famous last words?
Absolutely. Yes. Remember that it's very important for you to realize that if you want to see changes around you, you got to start with yourself. Okay. It's not about, dumbing women down or dumbing other people down to make you look bright. Like if you want to see change and you want to be in a healthier situation, start with yourself.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jovo. Let's go ahead and go with Darwin.
Okay.
Famous last words.
Just want to tell all the fellas, be careful about all these pick-me's and these weak-minded women that you're getting, because you might have a daughter one day, and that's who she gonna be learning from. You don't want to see your daughter get treated the way that most men will treat these pick-me's, because she's picked up these bad habits and this behavior that's going to allow men to treat her a certain way. So be mindful of the women you keep in your company, because those are the women that's going to mold your daughters.
All right. Thank you, Darwin. All right, Mrs. Understanding.
My message is to the ladies, I guess, in regards to being a pick me or whatnot. You're really doing yourself a disservice. If you do get picked, it's probably not gonna be by a good man. Yeah, it's dangerous. Being boy crazy is dangerous. Pandering to men for any unnecessary amount of time or reason is dangerous. So try not to be a pick me. That's all.
Try not to pick me.
Just try, because y'all said they be unconsciously picking. Just try really hard.
All right. Last but certainly not least, Rob B. Privilege. Famous last words.
I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen, stop listening to people on social media who don't know who they are themselves, trying to tell you who you should be. Live your best life. Be true to yourself always in everything you do from beginning to end. And then you don't have to worry about these situations that come about. Learn how to cut people off immediately. Cut it where it's at. You don't have to take anybody's emotional damage, emotional baggage, their insecurities, and make them your own. Yes, people that hurt you can heal you, because you should learn the lesson. Until you learn lessons in life, you're going to keep going through the same hills and valleys, girls and boys. Do better. And as far as this freaking goes, if you are not prepared to take care of a child, a man, or a woman, then keep your genitalia to yourself. And always know it's all about that balance, and anything less is uncivilized. So when you are traveling the spaces of social media and you see that conversations are unbalanced and they're disingenuous, turn off and unsubscribe. That's it.
Absolutely. Love it.
Y'all, I had fun tonight. We had a good show.
Yes.
Yes, this was fun.
So I want to make sure everybody knows about our clubhouses. All right. We got Cannon Hill, Candid with Cannon every Monday, third Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. We got our girl, Mrs. Jovo. She's going to come to you. It's called A Convo with Jovo, y'all. Y'all can get a little bit of therapy in on Clubhouse. All right. That will be every second Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then we got Real Talk with Raven. All right. And that is every last Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you all already know about Robbie Privilege. Y'all got to go check her out. You doing your thing over there, girl. You got a lot. What, like 40, almost 40,000 subscribers now?
No, but soon. They soon come. Right now I'm at about 9K and over 500,000 views, and when we hit that, yes, ma'am, when we hit that 10K, it's about to turn up. This stuff I've been holding back. I can't wait.
Absolutely.
All right. And y'all stay tuned to us. We have so much more that we want to talk about right here in the ladies' room. Peace out.